answer our poll. It's time for us, me, Mel, and Ender to answer some questions. It's a Toronto pop quiz. We've got some multiple choice questions, of course, about Toronto, our host city. I've never been here before. Have you been here before?
Me neither. Nope.
Yeah, so you're gonna have to carry us in this quiz.
I'll try. I only been here for a year and a half, but maybe I'll phone a friend from the audience to help me out.
Okay. Maybe we can get the audience to help us out here. Let's start with the first question. Any baseball fans? You guys
I mean, I played baseball all my life, but I don't know much about baseball stadiums.
All right, but do we have any inklings here with our first question?
I'm just gonna go ahead and take A out, just process of elimination, because I'm definitely sure that is not the largest Ontario stadium in Ontario.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay, then I'm taking B out. I'm taking B out instantly. It's gotta be Peanuts.
I'm taking Peanuts. That seems just so random. Like this random stadium just hosts Peanuts for the first time. Like that seems like it'd be right.
All right, let's go for C, being the first baseball stadium to serve Peanuts.
Oh my God!
Oh no! Oh no!
Wait, what?
It's a terrible start for
I did not realize Babe Ruth was playing baseball in Canada. I'm gonna be honest.
Is he Canadian? No.
No.
The more you know.
Why is he playing his first game here? That's crazy.
You're not Canadian. You live here.
Okay, fair.
There we go. Let's move on to the next question here. How tall is the CN Tower? Anyone in the audience, do you guys know this answer? How tall is the CN Tower? Can I get a cheer if you think it's A? Oh, no one cheered.
Oh my God.
Can I get a cheer if you think it's B? Oh, one or two. Can I get a cheer if you think the answer is C? Oh,
okay.
It's C. It's C.
That tall. Okay,
I'm going with the audience. I'm going with the audience. C. Let's lock it in.
Okay, you'd have to. Whoa,
Oh my
God!
God.
Come on, guys!
You
betrayed us.
That's brutal.
What is this? We got trolled.
You'd have to stack me on top of myself. I think like 250 times to be able to reach that.
Oh, so like 800 times for you.
Yeah, I just did everything in Ender measurements from now
All right,
on.
let's do this one then.
More real than feet.
Which of the cities is larger than Toronto? And I'm not trusting the audience this time.
I feel like it's not C. Absolutely not C. I feel like Chicago. I feel like Chicago and Toronto are like sister cities. Oh, okay, wait. They're saying it's A. So does that mean we go
there
B?
are Sentinels players taking the stage, Mel. That's what the cheering's for.
Okay. I was
they saw Zekken. They saw Zekken. Yeah,
that makes total sense.
They don't care about our silly little games. Nice, though.
You're correct, Mel. You're actually correct. Thank God somebody brought their brain to work today. So Mel has put us on the board. Who?
Oh, no.
Wait, it's a real person? Tim Hortons is a real person?
Oh, my God.
This is shameful if we don't know.
What I will say, though, is I sampled some of the delicacies of Tim Hortons, and I am a fan. Yeah. Tim, good job. Keep doing what you're doing. Do you have any inklings?
I'm gonna say not
I think
A.
anyone can
I'm also
watch
gonna say
Yeah,
not
okay.
A.
Shakes hands, shakes hands.
Okay, down to unite on that front. I feel like it's
where's
gotta be
Jonah P when you need him? I feel like Jonah P would know this, right?
I think
he would know this.
I'm going historic fur trapper.
I'm going with that one as well. It
What does
seems
that
a little
mean?
random, but
Fur trapper, like beavers and stuff.
We have a
इसलिए कर रहा
very
हूँ
different
because मैं
definition for
करता
that
हूँ
word in my
last time
country.
Masters Bangkok की
But
भी
alright,
watch
it is. I'm sure.
और मैं ये टाइम स्ट्रीम करने वाला था नॉर्मल वाली
so we're all going to jail.
बट मेरा
Maybe
इन गेम
that's
FPS इशू आ रहा था तो मैं
someone
ज़्यादा नहीं
bail.
कर
Do you
पाया
know what?
I just want to,
Like,
as
FPS
an
was like
appeal to
40,
the audience
30 आ
here,
रहा था.
please don't hate us. You know, you guys have been
मैंने
great,
stream
super
cancel
welcoming.
करके
Shout
direct watch
Emily
party
was
रखी.
giving away these like bracelets,
yes.
Masters Toronto bracelets. They're kind of fire.
I
Like,
got two as
सैड
well. I
रहेगा
got two
क्या
as well.
करूँ यार
I have
नहीं
some.
कर
You have to
सकता.
believe
मुझे
me. I
करनी है
just said
इसलिए
all the
दिमाग
one.
खराब
No,
Don't
it's
करना है.
jail
actually
us.
going to bear.
stream
Give me all the
करनी है.
bracelets, please.
We'll do it tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow. It might come as a surprise
think
after
अभी
how we
मुझे
did
video
that,
पे ही
but Mel,
focus
Andrew,
करना
and I
पड़ेगा.
are indeed actually forming a quiz team.
are?
We sent,
Help.
Wait, we are?
We are. We sent Uber to sniff out if Sentinels, Zelsis, and Narrate have what it takes to make the cut.
Welcome everybody to this edition of Lightning Round, where we take some of our pros and see if their buzzer fingers are quite as fast as the trigger fingers. I'm here, of course, with Zelsis and Narrate from Sentinels, boys. Good to have you with me. Who's the quiz master between you two? Oh, okay.
For sure. It's for sure him. For sure. We got Einstein over here.
Okay, well, you're just deflecting the attention.
I mean, bro, just... What am I supposed to say? Like,
That
it's just
sounds-
a game show. Like, he's
being
old as
mad.
hell. Like, how am I...
What? Apparently
You're
age,
old.
age correlates
yeah.
to like experience.
More knowledge. He's got more experience than me.
Yeah,
How am I supposed to compete?
All right, so let's see just how you go. So you guys are gonna buzz in when you have the answer.
Okay,
We're
chat
gonna
एक
see questions.
सवाल.
You guys ready?
Do you
Yeah.
want
Let's
me
do it.
कि
Number
मैं
one,
खाली
who
SEN
was
का
the
मैच
first
करके
player to
watch
win
party
a
खत्म
global
करूँ?
event MVP?
Yeah. मैं
Depends. He's right.
MIBR और
Wait,
GGG
you should have just hit the button. We already knew.
Yeah, wait. Yeah, the setup for the first questions. It's always 10.
Off camera, you were like, "Oh, I'm just gonna answer 10
Yeah, it's
straight
always
away."
10.
All set up. Nicely done. All right, one to Jordan. Here we go. Name all 4
Do you want me to cover
champions winning
whole 2
teams.
matches या फिर खाली
I
SEN
heard
का
that. I heard that. I'll give it to you.
Loud ascend, EG, EDG.
Easy.
Only
All right,
for
we are
more.
tied up. Nicely done.
SEN
All right.
fan. SEN
Number
fans
3.
united भाई.
Name at least 4 Masters locations. Jordan.
Like
मेरा एक
current
अच्छा सा
or-
लैपटॉप
hey,
या तो
hey,
मैं
hey,
गेमिंग पीसी आ जाए ना गाड़ी
Bangkok,
Yep.
Toronto.
Yep.
स्ट्रीम कर करके पागल हो
Reykjavik.
जाऊंगा.
Yep.
मुझे करना है स्ट्रीम.
One more.
मुझे ग्राइंड करना है मतलब. I
Korea.
want to grind like
That's
crazy.
wrong.
पागलों की तरह
You
स्ट्रीम
give
करना
me
है.
4.
Toronto,
Yep.
Bangkok, Tokyo,
Yep.
and Madrid.
Easy.
Oh my God, it
Yeah,
was Tokyo.
Tokyo,
Madrid.
dude.
You forgot Madrid.
Oh my God, I forgot Madrid.
You won it.
I won.
All right.
I gave that to you.
Okay, so 2 to narrate. Let's keep moving. Who had the highest
Guys, I
kill count
request
in
popcorn
America's
वॉपकॉर्न लेके
stage
आ
1?
जाओ. आज तो SEN का मैच है.
That's you.
Osmos.
No.
God.
Any thoughts?
Leaf.
Yeah, it's Leaf.
my God.
G2's Leaf. You're
I love
homie.
Leaf.
I know.
love Leaf.
All right, let's move on. Question number 5, guys. Which region holds the record for the longest game? Just a region.
APAC.
No.
EMEA.
Correct. It was actually
God.
VBL versus,
VBL versus Foot. Yes.
48
Told you,
rounds.
Einstein. Einstein over here.
I watched it.
All right, I mean, getting rolled, unfortunately. One more here, Jordan, to say a little bit of face. Which teams playing in Toronto have never qualified for a global event before? To you, buddy.
Z-Live Gaming.
Mhm.
2 teams, you said?
Which?
And RRQ.
Which? There are more.
Oh, okay. Team, RRQ,
Yep.
Z-Live Gaming, Wolves,
Anyone from
And-
your region, maybe?
MIBR.
Correct. There we go.
Why do you? Hey, that's cheating. Hey, half a point, half a point.
Bro, you're well enough.
That's the
ahead
last
anyway.
question. You won.
Oh, I won.
Yeah, you won.
Hey, all right. Hey,
So
thank you.
you are the quiz master of the Einstein.
Yes, sir.
You comfortable now wearing that moniker?
Oh,
You
yeah.
Introduce yourself.
For
is that
sure.
right?
I mean, my competition is him, but like, it's fine. I'll take it.
Listen, the old thing doesn't give me knowledge. It makes me senile. You know what I mean? Like I just forget things.
There's a limit, right? There's a diminishing returns on it. Trust me, I can tell you guys that for real. Well, we've seen them compete amongst themselves. We're going to see them compete against the rest of the field out here at Masters Toronto. It's been Sentinels here with lightning round. Good luck with your games, guys. Hope to see you guys
अपना
dominate
voice
for
increase करो
Americans.
थोड़ा. अच्छा मैं अपना voice increase करो. Okay.
I think Narray did well enough to join our team. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, if it's Valorant questions, I feel like we would crush it, you know?
मेरा stream
I'm
setup
hearing
और मेरा
excuses here.
watch
I feel
party
like he would've
setup में
crushed
इतना
the Toronto
ज़मीन
quiz
आसमान
as
का
well.
फर्क है
Yeah,
ना.
maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know.
He
He's on
just
fire.
seems like he knows.
Literally
things
ज़मीन
about
आसमान का
running
फर्क है.
Almanac.
पता है क्यों?
Yeah, he
कि
just
जब
knows
मैं
what's
watch
up.
party करने
But maybe
बैठता
we'll
हूँ,
ask him
मुझे
after. But it is great
बस
to see
एक
Sen
mouse चाहिए,
end up back
mic
on the global
चाहिए.
stage.
Yeah,
वो
I
सब
mean,
चाहिए
hopefully it'll
बस.
be great this
और
time, right? Like
जब मैं
Sentinel's
गेम
journey
खेल रहा
has
होता
been
तब मुझे
really a
पूरा
roller
मतलब
coaster
देखना
this year,
पड़ता है
right?
setup.
Because back at
So,
Bangkok they
my God.
bombed out 0-2, and there were a lot of concerns for this squad heading into stage 1. The vibes looked terrible if you were watching their sort of behind-the-scenes videos. Was Narrate gonna find his confidence again? Was it all going to work out? And almost immediately they seemed to lock in. They cruised through stage 1. They actually beat G2 in the upper bracket playoffs before ultimately falling to them in the finals, but I think they're back.
That's the problem though, right, Mel? They should have come into this event as seed 1 after they took down G2.
I agree, and I feel like Sentinels is a team though that's very hot or cold. It's kind of like what you were saying earlier, Ender. When they're hot, but when they're cold, it's like an unrecognizable team. And I'm sure that's something that if you were to ask Kaplan or
मतलब
anyone on
मुझे
that team,
करना
they
है.
would say the
I'm
same
like,
thing.
भाई
They're so
grind
hard on
करना है.
themselves and their
I mean,
tweets
I'm
and their
happy
content
जो भी
that
मेरे
they would
साथ कर
agree.
रहे हैं.
And I feel like Sentinels is a
Biswas
team that really
successful,
thrives
Biswas
off
bhaiya
confidence as well.
For
And I
sure.
think that's going to be
मेरे
so important for them going into this
सब
event
अपने
if they
अपने तरीके
don't
से
want
hard
to,
work कर
if they
रहे हैं,
want to
सब आगे
completely
बढ़
avoid
रहे
what
हैं.
happened at Bangkok.
But
You know, it was interesting because
तुम्हें
I
कहीं पे
ran
left
into
out feel होता
Zelsis
है यार कि
backstage
मैं
before the
गेम
game
कर
today.
रहा
I
हूँ,
was
मुझे
like,
भी
is
grind
it
करना
easy
है,
2-0?
मुझे
How's
भी
it going to be? And you
you
said,
know
no, like
उस level
I'm
पे
coming
जाना है,
in with a
but
different
at the
mentality
end
because
device
during
एक
Bangkok, I
limitation
came
बन के
in,
खड़ा
I
हो
said I
जाता
was
है.
winning it all, you know, it was going to be easy,
I'm happy,
whatever.
मैं
He's
ऐसा
like,
नहीं बोल रहा,
no,
but
this time
मैं
he's going to
खुश
stay
हूँ.
humble, he's going to
जो
take it one
progress
map at
वो
a
लोग भी कर
time.
रहे
So
हैं.
That's crazy.
he's
क्योंकि
playing
उसमें
it a
at the
little
end of
bit
the day
calm
मेरा भी
at
kind
the
of थोड़ा
start.
बहुत
You know
progress
what's funny is
connected है,
when we
so
were
I'm
watching,
happy
just
कि
even
वो
the
लोग
pop
भी
quiz, I'm so used to
वो लोग
Zelsis
develop
like
हो रहे हैं, so
teasing
it's
his
really, really
teammates
nice
and being like a
watching,
bully
you know,
jokingly.
उन लोगों को
And
भी
even
आगे
then,
आना.
when Narrate won, he started clapping. He was like, "You win." It was like I was like kind of taken aback. I'm like, "This is not the Zelsis I know." So humble king now, I guess.
We love a humble kin, but if there is anyone Sentinels can rely on when things get hard, it's John QT. He spoke with Jen Lee ahead of today's match.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with John QT. Now John, cool jersey by the way. Welcome to Masters. I want to talk about Wolves, your opponents today. Now they kind of emerged as the dark horse of the CN region, and I know you've done your homework, analyzed them, you studied their tendencies. What is your assessment of the Wolves?
Yeah, they're definitely a dark horse team. I feel like they could upset a lot of teams, so we're definitely not underestimating them, but we're just making sure to play our game. At the end of the day, it's a new meta, and there could be a lot of surprise, so we're just making sure to if we play our game, we should be fine.
So no upsets from them today?
No way.
You heard the man.
As long as John QT maybe doesn't stand up too prematurely, I think, with the whacking with the one, I think they're going to be fine. And it also helps that Ender Zekken has been phenomenal in Americas.
Yeah, I mean, Zekken has been completely unleashed during stage 1. I feel like he really stepped back into his own. I think he's just so effective at these early brawls that Sentinels are going for. Like him on both the Yoru and the Neon, he is super effective at just finding kills and reminding everyone about the Zekken that was on top of the world back in Madrid.
Now, I've always called for Zekken's praises, and I think that's one thing to have his mechanical prowess, that aggression, like you said, unwavering, but I've always hailed his praises as being such a complete player. He's such a cerebral duelist. I mean, anyone here is a SEN fan, which there's plenty of, I'm sure. There they are.
Yeah.
If you watch the comms videos, you know just how much this guy dictates some of their post plans and how vocal he is, and I think that is one of his greatest strengths going into this tournament.
And the jersey looks great. Jen was right.
Absolutely,
It really
it
suits
does.
them. It really suits them. But there is a reason that, they were already talking about potential upsets, taking their opponents seriously, showing them a lot of respect, because on the other side of this, they will be going up against a team that have never made it to a global event before, and one I think there is a danger, Mel, in underestimating.
Absolutely. I mean, I think Zelsis said it himself as well. I think one thing is that it's kind of scary going to a team that feels like they have nothing to lose, and they're just happy to be here. How many times have we heard a story of a team in this exact position who's just happy to be here, their first global debut, and they make a run? So it's really a lot on Sentinels here to shut them down, but a lot on Wolves to come in with good game plans and come in strong.
It's interesting because Wolves have been up against tough competition all throughout stage 1. They were put into the same group with XLG and Billy Gaming, come out of that as the 3rd seed, right? So if you look at the standings there, they're not expected to make it out. There's a whole other group they have to get through, but regionally, they only lost to the 1 and 2 seeds out of China. So they are solidly the number 3 team coming in here and a force to be reckoned with.
And in the past year, we've seen a lot of teams that have never made it before come in with such exciting rookies, players you finding ranked demons, but I want everybody to know that some of the players on Wolves have been working to get here for years and years and years. Players like Sufat Bibi who was playing in the same Challengers League as Kong Kong back in 2021, 2022. Jetmain never had an opportunity for a global stage. Role swap to IGL, grinding his ass off just for this opportunity, and they finally made it here. And if they were to upset Sentinels, Ender, I think this would be the craziest Cinderella story after just day 2 of Masters.
Yeah, I mean, that would just shock the world, right? Like, Wolves, relative unknown to majority of the world coming into this tournament before this event, instantly they would put themselves on the map and be serious threats, because I think a lot of people are looking at the Sentinels team and what they were able to do domestically up versus G2 and saying they could go real deep in this tourney.
I think it's a careful balance you do have to strike if you are Wolves, though, in the sense that, yes, all that work you've done for years and years, like you said, Yenzu, have built up to this very moment. But do you want to put all that pressure on yourself now, or do you want to bring it back a little bit and come to reality like, hey, I'm happy to be here, I'm just here to play? Or are you going to go full in and try your absolute hardest to make that Cinderella story a reality?
And of course, we just saw on our screens, we got Sufat over here, Spring, who's been around for the last 5 years as well, hugely popular in VCT, and the fans love him over there. Of course, we've seen Lysor and Jakob on the global stage before, and Juicy, the youngest player in the tournament, but somebody who everyone has wanted to see on the stage for quite a long time.
I love that little matchup of old and new on this team, right? Because you've got all those veteran players, then paired up with the rookie, right? And I think that this team just works so nicely together. There's a lot of flexibility, I think, in the terms of the agents they can play, especially if you're looking at a guy like Spring. He can play everything. He was role swapping back and forth with Juicy throughout stage 1, whether it was Duelist or Smokes. Now he seems a little bit more locked in on the Smoke side, but what that means for him is he is always alive deep in rounds for the clutches and so often pulling those rounds through.
Yeah, and look at this quote here from Sufat Baby saying, "Dreams do come true. I'm heading to VCT Masters after over 7 years.
Wow.
Do you
Let's
have
go.
any idea what I've been through in these past 7 years?" The purple looks so beautiful. He is coming in at the age of 25, Mel. Normally, with these players on their first global event, they're like 18, 19. So a long time coming, and I just want the fans to get behind him and see how he can IGL this team up against the likes of SEN.
How can you not? Like, that is such an inspiring story. 7 years in the making to make this stage. That's such a special moment for him and the rest of his team. And I'm sure they want to do it for themselves, but also do it for him.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like similar stories in the past, I feel like, right? Even across the stage with like a John QT that had fought through tier 2 for so long, finally got there. Well, his first Masters, you know, he's up there winning the whole thing. So let's see what Wolves can do here at this one.
I mean, I think winning the whole thing will be absolutely insane for Wolves. I'm not going to write that out, but for Juicy, you mentioned him already. A lot of flexibility coming out of him as well. Of course, when he was sort of competing, the rule of having to be 18 came in, so that's why we haven't seen him in tier 1, but now he is there. One of the best players we've seen in that region.
Yeah, and you're going to see him play a wide variety of duelists. You're going to see the Neon, the Yoru, the Jet. I mean, the Raze too, but I'm a big fan of his Neon. I think the way that Wolves like to play with Juicy, similar to Sentinels in a way, is it's a lot about these just start of round full-on brawls. 4 or 5 players getting ready to take space, take a fight. That's going to be Juicy leading the charge, and then they'll freeze, and he'll just start creeping forward, walking, looking for that next contact fight. So he's a very versatile player in that regard too.
It sounds like from the past like 24 hours, it seems you are quite neon pilled, Ender, and I mess with you so much for that. And I love it as a viewer. I love it as someone who plays on a team with someone who's also an insane neon player. Having that explosive player, it puts so much pressure, in this case on Sentinels, to shut down those early fights and to win those engagements, because it can spiral out very easily.
Yeah, that head-to-head is going to be very interesting. Earlier, you guys saw Zelsus and the Raid try out for our quiz team. We also put Juicy and Sufat BB to the test with a game of over and under, and this is how they did. Wolves have made an incredible run to make it here in Masters Toronto. I'm now joined by Juicy and Sufat Baby to put them to the test and see how much they've been paying attention to the stats of the game. Now, it's very simple. We're going to call this over and under. I'm going to give you a stat and a number. I want you to tell me if the answer is over or under. You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay, let's go into it. I'm going to test you a little bit on a player from your region, from SEN. Do you think Coconut's ACS is over 180 or under 180? You've played against Coconut.
Yeah.
So, oh, you both said over. Why?
I think he's really good now, and they won first place, and I'm pretty sure his ACS was 200 plus.
200 plus?
Yeah.
You agree?
I saw him play. He crushed a lot, so I think he's over.
Oh, you really know your opponent. It's under. You got it wrong. It's yeah, you're so surprised. It's actually 176, so only a little bit under 180. Oh, I like the respect that you showed for Coconut, though. Next one, it is going to be about you, Sufat.
Okay.
Is your win percentage on Tejo over or under 50%?
I say under.
No, I think it's over.
Okay, you said under. Why?
I think because I'm pretty sure we lost like a lot of maps in our split. I don't think our win percentage would be over 50%.
Oh, I see. You're thinking about the overall, but you're confident. You were playing the Tejo.
Yeah,
So.
because we win a lot of game in regular season and playoff, and then I remember I play a lot Heaven, and then Fracture, and then Lotus. So it's over.
You have the reps, you have the experience.
I
but
have confidence too.
confidence? Unfortunately, Juicy was correct on this one. But it's only a tiny bit under 50. It's 47.
47.
You know? Are we going to see your Tejo this tournament? You think there's a chance?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see.
We know we're not going to see this.
No. I'm not going to play Tejo.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. Now, coming into this tournament, it's your first global event. So I want to ask you, do you think over or under that 20 players are making their debut at Masters Toronto? Because if you count the two of you, you know, there's at least 2 making a debut. So more than 20 or less than 20?
20 what? Sorry.
More than 20
players making their debut.
I think over.
Yeah, I think it's over.
Oh, how many over you think?
Just
like
a few.
lot over? Just
no,
a few?
just a few.
Okay, why?
Because, like...
Are you counting the players in your head?
Yeah, we have XLG.
Yeah.
That's 5 right there. Our team has 3. BLG has like 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
That's like already 10.
You're doing the math.
Yeah.
You're doing the math.
So like compared to all the other regions, I'm pretty sure there's a lot more.
Okay, you guys you've done very well there. It's 21, so it was over. Congratulations
Okay,
on that.
fist bump, Josie.
Yeah. You can actually finish this on a high, okay? This is about you two. This is exclusively about Juicy and Sufat. If you add the number of officials that you've both played together, so the combined number of VCT officials, is it over or under 150?
It's over.
I think it's over.
But I want to guess if you can actually, I want to ask if you can actually get your number. This would be very impressive if you know this number.
The 2 of us combined?
No, just individually.
Individual?
180, 180.
I think about 160.
Oh my goodness. I mean, you were correct. It is over. But combined is 171 combined, you two. Juicy, you've played 82 VCT matches, and Sufat, you've played 89. So I am so happy that you guys made it to Toronto. You know, after all these years of trying, we get to see you on the global stage. So thank you very much for joining me, and best of luck in your games.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's a lot of officials before you get to be on a global stage, which means that Mel, they have the experience, and it's just going to be about how they perform and not letting the pressure get to them today.
I think that is the biggest part, honestly. Just making sure, like we were saying earlier, just making sure you keep a cool head and you don't think too much about the result. Just think about really what you're playing and what's on your game, really. And I think SEN, actually, ironically, is probably doing the same thing.
Agreed. Now, we've got Narray on our quiz team already. Are we taking Juicy? I feel like Juicy did quite well there.
I'll take Juicy.
Yeah? We can start a Valorant team at this point.
Honestly, kick me out of the team. I'll coach and we'll bring them both.
Oh, yeah, but you retired.
Yeah. I'll come back. I'll come back to coaching.
out of retirement to coach us? Okay, I'm down. That means we're missing one more person. So if any Val pros out there that want to join our team, let us know. But during today's matches, we're adding a little extra something, and playing a game of Masters Bingo. Make sure you guys at home and all the watch partiers play along with us as well. My eyes instantly go to the 3rd row on the right, Mel, because there is no way in hell Texture's getting an ace today.
No, that guy is cursed. I don't know what happened. I don't know who put it on him, but there is a curse on Texture.
I'm sorry, I appreciate Bingo, what you guys say. Celsius is hyping the crowd to the maximum right now, walking off the stage, getting ready to take it again.
Did I miss a Celsius twerk?
Oh yeah, I think there was some barking going on down there. It was wild.
I missed a Celsius
love to
twerk.
see it. You love to see the fans get hyped.
When he walks out, he better deliver something good. Do you reckon it's a Cuba walkout today?
I mean, Cubert's always got to be with the team. Yeah, he's the 6th man. You don't understand. Sentinels don't play with 5. They play with 6.
I wish Kaplan would respect Cuba a little bit more, you know? Treat him a little bit better.
Well, he should be better at his job then.
Oh, what did Cuba do to you?
I mean, if the strats aren't working, it's Cubert's fault. I'm sorry.
It's never Cuba's fault.
Oh, good.
I cannot believe this slander.
I don't make the rules.
You. Yeah, I'm glad you don't make the rules.
I know it's not Cap's fault. That's why.
All right. I mean, we already heard here the fans here in the barricade giving a big cheer for Sentinels. We are actually moments away from the walkout. So make sure if you are in the building, head down over to the fan zone, join in on the atmosphere, and you get to see the players walk out, which is going to be very, very exciting. And whether Cuba is going to be there, I reckon he will. My money's on Zelsis maybe carrying him, you know, on his shoulders or something. But for now, It's time for the results of our MasterCard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you which of today's teams will have a flawless Swiss stage. The results are in, and you guys, we bumped up the 3.3% for CN team to 5, which is nice, but it is overwhelmingly Sentinels. Mel,
yeah, what a shock.
Would you agree with this?
Absolutely. I mean, can you really be too shocked here? It is very much on Sentinels to take this win today. They're definitely the overdog, so can't be too surprised, but would look a little ugly if they were to lose, I guess.
And before we went live, Ender was doing some crowd work. I saw you turn around and start going Sen City, you know, to the fans. So
I'm telling you, I'm seeing more than 52% of people wearing Sentinels jerseys.
Thank you, Yinzu, for picking the jinx. Oh my god.
Okay, I just want to say I've seen this film before. Sentinels versus EDG at Champs. I was the only person to predict EDG on the talent team. And do you guys remember how that went?
I'm sorry. Do you want to stop living in the past?
It's a different team. Tell me how that went.
It's a completely different team. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Sue. This is 2025. This is Toronto Sentinels. It's a win.
I smell a curse, and I think you're responsible for it.
No, you broke the curse. Thank you for choosing Wolves. Now we don't have the guarantee. It's
We're
very
grateful
good work.
for you.
Is that how we want to play it? Okay, we will see. We will see. Probably you guys are going to have the last laugh, but hey, I believe. Now, today, 8 players will be making their Masters debut. It's time to see who out of those have what it takes to shine on the biggest stage in Valorant. Get ready, everyone, for Sentinels versus Wolves. Genji will then be taken on MIBR. It's time to kick off day 2 of Masters Toronto.
Which team will rise up to the occasion to become the next Masters? Toronto, let's get this started!
뭔가 MIBR을 맞춰서 경기를 한다는 느낌보다는 그냥 저희가 준비하던 대로 사실 저는 뭐 앞으로 무엇이 걸려있다 이런 것보다는 사실 저는 지금 당장에 있는 상황이 되게 중요하다라고 생각을 하는 사람 중 하나라서 일단 매 경기가 저한테 있어서는 너무 소중할 것 같고
I like to take the leadership role. I think it's something very important. I want my team to be feeling well so we can do well in the matches. Right now, I think that's my role outside of the game.
근데 뭐 사실 그러니까 아스파스 선수 자체는 되게 많이 리스펙하고 엄청 탑급 선수라고 생각을 하긴 하지만 뭐 그렇다고 해서 저희 팀원들이 뭐 밀린다라고는 딱히 생각을 안 해가지고
Both teams are thinking the same thing. What edges out the victory in those moments, I think it's the team that is more prepared and the team that has a higher skill ceiling.
MIBR에는 이제 아스파스가 있다고 말을 많이 하지만 이제 젠지엔 내가 있다고.
Sentinels, can they do it?
I think it's important to recognize that you can't be
मम्मी
no
ने बुलाया
matter
था
how planned you are with what you have as a team.
SEN, dropping like flies!
The other team could throw something at you that just destroys that whole plan. But I think you should just keep trusting your gut and keep
By
playing.
the way,
I think to win the mental game, you need to be in a higher spirit than the other team. Be calm, take a deep breath, and then just play like it's a normal game. If you yourself can't find your footing, definitely your team still can.
My specialty is like psychologically getting in their head.
The only team I'm worried about is G2. The rest are dog shit. So.
There's so many teams that I'll just like mess with off stage before we even get on stage, and then they're nervous or they're overthinking.
Zelsis is always shouting.
What are you guys doing?
Let's say you're losing and you're getting shouted at, it's definitely gonna affect you.
The mental game is always one when you have no mental.
Sentinels will do a lot of talking, but I'll just let my gun on the server do the work.
Let's see. I mean, दोनों teams बहुत अच्छी है. I don't know. I'm kinda excited क्योंकि ये टाइम पे unpredictability बहुत ज़्यादा है मास्टर्स के टाइम. ये वाला मास्टर्स के टाइम. ये क्या buy the SEN bundle? Buy the SEN bundle. पुराना फ्लैग है कि नया फ्लैग है? पुराना है शायद से. पुराना फ्लैग है शायद. हाँ पुराना फ्लैग है. Buy the SEN bundle भाई.
Wolves have never made it to a global stage before, and their first opponent will be Sentinels. Talk about rising to the occasion. Usually, I don't think teams want to even face them, let alone making their debut against them.
Not at all. You couldn't come up with two different stories for these two teams. The first time for Wolves and for Sentinels coming back after bombing out of Masters 1 in Bangkok. Now for them, failure isn't an option again. This is what they must do. Win here to redeem themselves.
Yeah, and now if we talk about the meta of the game, the map pool, some people might be looking at this team thinking, what is John QT going to play? But they don't have Fracture anymore. Sunset is back. This is a buff for Sentinels.
Absolutely. They've been this patch has really benefited them in the map pool change. They used to permaban Fracture. But what I'm really looking at is how that info initiator role is going to play out between Narrate and John QT.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's options, right? Are they still going to be playing double initiator? Is John going to be playing Sova thing? Probably not. Is he going over to Breach, letting Narrate play a Sova? That makes a little bit more sense. Or do we see Sentinels go back into playing double Senti ideas? That's the option on a lot of maps.
Was giving it back to Zelsis. How many times have you seen that? Matching him on the vibes already, Mel, but the server is where it's actually going to count.
Yeah, I mean, like they said, I'm going to have my gun in the server do the shooting and speak for me, so I'm really interested to see if that's going to be the case here for Wolves.
Yeah, but Mel, you can speak a bit to this as well, like playing on a big stage like this, like when already the adrenaline is pumping before you get in the server, that game can explode so quickly, right? Your heart rate is bumping. Those first rounds can either give you this huge high or drag you down to the ground.
And I love that the IG on the Wolves side is not afraid to answer to Zelsis' energy.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Yinsu. I think that normally one of two things happens. When someone like Zelsis is yelling at you from across the stage and making a lot of big movements with their body, either you try to ignore them and you try to do that nonchalant, ice cold kind of attitude, or you fight back and you show them. And it's honestly, I like doing the latter, where you kind of meet them where they're at, meet their energy with your own, because that honestly lets out a lot of your adrenaline, and it's just fun. I mean, at the end of the day, you see them sitting across from you, like, don't you want to say something?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. But looking at the map pool here, I don't think many people would have expected this insta sunset ban.
No, getting rid of that one, even though Sentinels have played that map quite a bit in the past. I'm also a little surprised seeing Wolves going over onto Split. This is a map that historically has looked very good for Sentinels. Back when they won Masters Madrid, Split was their bread and butter. But their Split looks a lot different these days. They've only been running the Teo on that. They've been playing no Sentinel on the map. So they have to come up with something new.
By the way, it's gold to 500
This veto has me completely off guard. Just seeing Icebox as the decider, and also Lotus, I think that's a map that these teams aren't necessarily. I think Sentinels is a team that doesn't necessarily like to play Lotus that much, and Wolves is someone that does, so it must be that there is a lot of going on in the scrims with the new patch, with the new maps, and with the lack of Teo here that has completely changed the map pool.
Yeah, and with Pearl, you know, there's a different conversation today. Both teams, they love to play Pearl, but even if you have all of the experiences in VCT CN on Pearl, do you dare to take Sentinels on Pearl?
That is a dangerous prospect. I don't think I would personally if I was up there, but these Sentinels, they've been looking strong. And honestly, I kind of want to hone in on our first map of Split a little bit, because it was interesting looking at Wolves. They earlier this year were playing no Teo, right? Initially, right? Teo was a little bit late to come into China, so they were playing some double Senti ideas. As a matter of fact, they're playing Cypher plus Vise on the map with Solo Sky as an option. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the Solo Sky, but there are some tapes that you could go back to for them to come up with a plan on Split.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, cool.
I can see that, because I'm thinking either they go Sky, or a lot of teams prominently have been playing Fade as well here, and I think that can work really well with double Sensi with the Hunt coming in. I mean, we saw it in APAC as well, how much value that Hunt gets on the A site. I can see it going either way for the initiator.
Especially if you are running something, instead of like a Raze on that map, you're going to play a Yoru, for example. You still have some flashes to play, a Vise if they wanted to go into that too. You can find options to give yourself flashes that aren't just in a Sky or Breach slot that's so common on the map.
I mean, for Sentinels, they are also very familiar with how Sky works on Split. People have this the recency bias of, you know, these NA teams are going to struggle because the Yoru Tejo Breach was a crutch, but are they forgetting what SEN used to do on Split?
Exactly, right? Because I think Sentinels have played two very distinct styles. So when you compare 2024 to 25, right? In 2024, it was a lot of like double smokes plus Sentinel, like the Viper was getting played a lot. It was all about controlling the map, slow, using a lot of these smokes. With John QT's role swap into 25, they switched over to playing double Initiator on a lot of maps. John QT was playing Initiator too, so it was much more about side execs, a lot more micro of their plays instead of calling the slow macro style. And I think with Teo out of the meta, they could very easily pivot back to that old style.
Exactly, and I think a big part of it is what you just said, is pivoting. And I think Sentinels is a team that is so storied on Split. There's so many historical matches that so many of us have loved and rewatched over and over again, and even teams in Tier 2, Tier 1 have watched to learn from. And I think they're a team that really, truly understands Split top to bottom, regardless of comp, because of how many cons they've played and just how good they are on the map. So I'm honestly shocked, and I really think that SEN is going to take Split.
Yeah, but that's what I would love to see, the reason as to why Wolves felt confident enough, right, to just go in there. And we've heard already from some of the players, you know, the coaches have been doing a lot of counter-stratting, they've been on it, and Fade is definitely somebody we expect to bring in something, a good game plan, so to say.
Yeah, I think the scariest thing for me looking at Wolves is sort of how they play their mid-rounds. Because a lot of teams in the mid-round, they'll show some like fake information, they'll try to throw you off. Wolves usually just go dead quiet, and they'll start slowly creeping forward. So it can be very hard, especially if you're playing a more passive game style on the defensive side versus Wolves, to actually know what they're doing, and that's where they can be so lethal.
And I think that contact style of play that they're going for can be countered by Sentinels if they get that off online early, and if they win those contact fights, rifle v rifle.
Well, we are
Classic
into
SEN.
Agent Select. Just to remind you guys, it is live. The gray right now is the hovers from our players, and Yukal and Juicy have already locked it.
Please give me classic Sentinels,
Oh, but
John
it's
QT
so-
back on Cypher.
It's so, this is just too tried and tested at this point, right?
I mean, the second Sky hovers has me wondering a little bit that it has to be a
The
little
rules
bit
are
of play
cooked, I fear.
I mean, I'm refusing to believe that.
Spring?
I'm refusing to believe it.
Oh no, Spring was for a second hovering the Waylay over there, but the Viper wouldn't surprise at all. He's been a pretty solid fragging Viper player in CN.
Again, Spring has a lot of experience playing Duelist even within this year. He is so powerful, especially later into a round. I mean, looking at the lock-in, John has locked the Sky. So you've been playing exclusively Teo on this map this year. It's going to be Sentinel's same comp as Stage 1, just subbing out Teo for the Sky. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, Narrate's Breach, I remember my own team, we VOD reviewed so much of Sentinels, and how they play Breach on Split is super key and extremely fundamental to how they play their defense especially. Narrate gets so much value out of his reads early on, before the freeze time even ends, where he's going to position himself early to capitalize on the shots.
But the important thing for Sentinels, starting on the defensive side, is the mid-rounding, right? When information is taken away from them, how do you actually scout? Sky, not great at scouting. You have the dog and a couple of flashes only to be able to work with, and they don't have a dedicated Sentinel, so a lot of pressure onto Zekin to find the timings to be a human drone to take forward lines, and Wolves are going to try to exploit that.
Yeah, and for Sufat, no Tejo, like you said, but the Fade.
The Fade coming in, we've seen Fade so much on Split. I'm super excited for this match.
Well, this is the true David and Goliath matchup, and the same could be said for our casting duo. I'll let you decide who's who. Take it away, Uber and Wyatt.
Last time we saw Sentinels at a global event, they bombed out in the biggest way possible. Talk about road to redemption for this America's superstar team. But Wolves on the other side come into this tournament, White, with everything to prove.
They're going in as by far the least expected team to be at this event. People questioning, did they make it just because of the EDG fall-off? Do they deserve to be here? Well, Sufat said that dreams do come true. Everything he's been through for years have led to this moment. What he's been working for, the IGL of this team, seeking an upset win, picking a map that has traditionally been a home for Sentinels since the iteration of the Celsius John QT roster began. Do they have it in them?
All right, Toronto, one more time. Make some noise. Sentinels versus Wolves starts now.
Nice.
Sense that on defense side here on the pistol, and already Zekin's looking to take a decent amount of real estate here on that B side of the map. Gate crash across the map that will allow for a quick rotate.
I mean, this comp from Sentinels, certainly not lacking in flashes. They can get very proactive, popping out of smokes past wall. Second right now wants to take contact off this flash, but shut down! Juicy and Spring.
Flash was good. Can't complain about it. Wolves though were ready to take the fight there. Delsa's affected by paranoia, and this is awkward. The wall is dropped. He's going to have to take this fight, and Juicy rips him a new one. John can barely peer out of defense side. Spring sees him cross. Banks trying to get some sort of position towards Heaven side now as the plant goes down. The veteran Lysor gets it in there.
Bang understands that this flank from YU is likely coming. Spotted out, but now this Cypher just needs to stay alive, bide some time, distract them. Fair enough. Time is dropping, and I love this reflank coming in from CFAT.
Yeah, they're on a timer. There's also going to be presence from Heaven. Spring's going to get there! It's Lysor! What an opener! Basically every kill, a headshot there for Wolves. And then we're ready for the trap SEN late at B.
There's going to be so much proactivity like that from Sentinels here on defense. So if Wolves can continue to nullify that, flash turned by both players, quick on that reaction. And look at these taps from Lysor, who is by far the most experienced player on this Wolves team when it comes to international events. Every single one he attended with FPX in 2024. That experience is going to need to come into play to keep the rest of these guys in it. He's been such a consistent force for them.
Tech pulls down on the stage. A keyboard issue being cited. So we have at least a chance to try and establish ourselves now at the start of this game, because John QT picking up the sky here. Obviously, we're very used to seeing this team just force Teho every single map. We got teased a little bit at Agents, so like thinking maybe we would head back to the Cypher. But this is the look that SEN have sort of settled on. Obviously, Zekken still going to be on that Yoru, a huge component of their run. A big recovery when they got back to the Americas region after that shocking start in Bangkok. Can he carry them further?
One of the big gameplay narratives coming into this year with Sentinels, when 10 Saucy departed, they need to reformat how they're approaching the game, was why is John not playing Sentinel when you have Narrate coming in, who was such a great initiator in EMEA last year? And at times, it certainly felt awkward. The fans of the team, when they were in a bit of disarray, were questioning those role swaps. Is that the reason for some of those early struggles? And it all made sense when John was able to pretty much play Teho on almost all the maps, occasionally playing the breach, and Narrate will pick it up, right? And that just seemed to smooth things over. So now that we're back in a Teho-less world, will things be as smooth as they were for SEN when they were the only America's team to beat G2 in that first stage? Or is it going to be an adjustment period for them?
Conversely, Wolves also were a really Teho-reliant team. They're playing that agent in the past on most of their maps as well. Tech pause sorted. We're going to be jumping back into the game now. It's Wolves, of course, on their anti-eco.
Brought up a couple rifles, just going to leave that ghost towards Spring, who is going to be surely trying to lurk, take a couple engagements with no upgrade here. Look at this from Wolves. This is really right now telling the story of what they know they're up against. At any moment, there could be multiple flashes with a fault line coming right at them, especially on an eco round. So they are taking their sweet, sweet time. We're already 40 seconds in and they're chilling.
Delsa took a big hit there. Some spray potentially as the poison orb came up in mid. That trap wire indicates that Wolves may not opt to stay at the A side. They're hoping to tease something out. Here's a flash mid for a re-clear. Nothing spotted by SEN. Now they'll disperse a little further. At least Zekken will move back towards Heaven. That's a ping from Wolves, though, in mid. They're starting to make this move on A.
We are down to 45 seconds, so there is no map control right now for Wolves. Look at SEN. They've read the situation. They're pivoting over, and certainly that trailblazer broken, they'll know.
Now time getting a little even lower. Where do Wolves go from here? Hit by the fault line, unable to make that execute onto A, but Spring has started to create an opening here through mid. Center responding though.
They're on the full rotate. Now Spring is going to beat them there. The rest of the team should be able to get to Heaven. Do they have a smoke to actually cut this off with a molly? That will do the job. 20 seconds to cross into the site. Steal time is so low.
Horde confirms no plays for Sentinels are in this part of the site for now, so in they go. Lysor just want to stand up over towards here, that defense spawn choke.
10 seconds left.
The attack side will have themselves a plant. SEN not able to create any trap opportunities early in the round.
only equipped with classics. There's not a whole lot to be done.
These guys are giving me some serious anxiety with that late rotate. SEN was stacked up and ready now. It's just about Wolves cleaning this up with ease.
Spring and Lysol going to be grouped up here in the back of sight. They're going to be facing down a bunch of classics. This should be easy enough for them, but Nere's able to find Juicy. Guiding Light goes in, does find a ping. But the wall gets thrown up here by the attack side. They can sit happily behind that now. And they handle Sentinels, corral them into the site, and walk out of the round with 3 rifles.
All of the important guns carried over from Wolves. Dangerous for a moment there. SEN were so aware of what they were doing, and that was a round where Wolves, it was looking like they were a little too apprehensive about how offensive this SEN comp is going to be on defense. But once they're set up here, that wall to play off that you called out is really going to simplify things for Wolves. And credit them, and they did get to this site with everybody alive. And it's a pretty clean anti-eco overall. Let's get into this bonus round.
One thing we're looking to see if Wolves can make adaptations on the fly. In the past, they really stuck to plan A and didn't really change things up when things got weird mid-round. One of the criticisms has been leveled at them.
And certainly one of the reasons that the run to get here was so volatile. You know, winning a clean 2-0 over Billy, qualified and losing 0-3. Here's Juicy trying to press up towards mid. An incredibly aggressive player, specifically when he's on this duelist, on this map even. He is a menace.
Look at his space. Juicy's getting a lot of room up mid, but Zelsis plants his feet, ready to receive him, but at the same time, the push is coming to the B side, but Bang is hidden.
Spring is so aware.
Oh, that's straight through smoke, Lysol. You can't be doing that. And now Zekin and John are a little bit split from each other. John attempts a foray, and YU just blows him up. Zekin just has to walk away with his gun intact. There's not much else to do.
Free little upgrade for YU on the bonus round conversion. Zekin forced to save. Bank broken for SEN. Wolves with all the momentum in the world early. What a play from Spring. Now he is a man on this team that shows absolutely zero fear. Reckless abandon at times, often getting him punished, but feels just as often when you watch this guy. He is going to outright win rounds for this team. I just love that awareness from him, realizing that Bang is going to be playing around the cloud that he had up. He drops and he's posted for the duel. That is insane.
He's the kind of player, even as a Viper player, that loves to just stand out in the open and take these duels. Sometimes early in the round, so it's been exploitable in the past for Wolves, but in that situation, it was just what they needed to control B.
So when you're on attack and you're getting clean 1v1 wins over Bang anchoring a site, you're earning my respect, because these are the situations where Bang is at his finest.
Zelsa's the only player for Sentinels who's really able to have any stopping power in that round. As that poison orb came down, he was just too slow to the punch. Rough starting for Sentinels. We've got him mic'd up. That's an interesting decision.
We're going to see a lot of stingers on this half by very North America coded of SEN to be bringing these in.
Bring them down.
The expert region with one of the silliest guns in the game.
Blinded.
Oh, no.
They really want this mid control, Sen. Have already thrust Zekin straight down. And Wolves almost playing, again, very passively early, just like we saw in that anti-eco round. 2 players grouped up towards Ramen, but Zekin's got a pretty far forward on. Bang, Sufat's able to spot it out though. Of course, Gate crashes away. Now Wolves do have to re-clear mid to some degree, but they're starting to encroach on A, and they've got a local player advantage here.
Juicy has worked some nice space here. YU spamming through. SEN, again, they are rotating heavily to where Wolves have made noise. This is really reminiscent of that eco round they had earlier. They are stacked up on the proper site, and it looks like Wolves want to force the issue.
Oh, this could be dangerous though. Zekin from within the dark cover, but Juicy takes the fight to them. That, however, though, is where the Stingers thrive.
Don't throw.
Juicy is cut down. 40 seconds left in the round, and here at least Wolves are changing things up. You'll note that Lysol has taken the spike across towards mid. They have, though, left Spring here.
30 seconds left.
Does Lysor dare try to take this spike towards B? Do Wolves attempt to pivot? They're going to. Should be able to get a free plant. Doesn't look like Bang is going to be in position to stop and to get there going so late, man. We've got 15 seconds on the clock, but they should be able to get the spike down. SEN to recover another upgrade. Gun to narrate. Oh my god, this could be...
He has the gun!
This could be everything on the round.
The right gets past them, but the timing here is very tight. Siufat is likely to come up behind Sentinels here, and they may not be ready for a bated breath here as Wolves try and close the net. But John wins out against Spring. Siufat has to go large here, but he doesn't have much to shoot at. Sees John, trigger discipline, pays off. Now he's got that Heaven control. Sentinels are starting to filter out onto the site. Lysol waiting. Dark cover blooms. He'll see it all here and brings Zelsis to heal. The shot through the smoke might be too much in the hand of a Siufat from the rafters. Can finish the job. That's 4 for the Fade and 4 for Wolves.
The IGL of Wolves. Speaking of how much this tournament meant to him, comes up in a crucial round where SEN could have halted the momentum they've got from winning that bonus on the prior. The patience here. Beautiful flank, and then able to just snap onto the remaining Sentinel players while they were distracted by Lysor in the site. 3v4, 1 out. A couple rounds where SEN had to read on what Wolves are doing, putting them in a horrendous time situation. But they are still able to win it out.
Don't trash talk to SEN.
Now those Sentinels do have their rifles back to hand. Okay, second. Coming off second best in that early encounter, Spring always up for a fight.
He will not shy away from taking a duel like that. Wolves are getting some space up here towards mid. Last time, when this was the case, we saw Juicy just double satchel straight into Heaven, and the rest of his team got caught off by Amali. Sometimes situations like that where they're undoing and offline runs with the adjustment. His aim is sick.
And that was after Zekin pulled back from mid, so now Sentinels do have information about that part of the map. Like, no idea. The Wolves have concentrated their players towards his A side. Bang's about to get awful busy. The highest ACS and KPR controller in America's playoffs. A real standout player is about to have his hands very full. Spray through, Siufat feels the burn. Wolves are milling about here over towards main now, looking to take that ramp control, but look at SEN, they are going to get some players up ropes.
3 players potentially fire for SEN. Juicy going to cross. Second a bit too far, or John rather, with that Trailblazers. Zelsis, does he have an opportunity to get off the run? No, he's just feeling the danger of the pressure. Bang is going to have to at least get one here.
Oh, the timing!
Only 2, what a thought line!
Bang set up, Bang brings the house down! They really need that!
The stun from Nere was perfect, made it absolutely effortless for one of the best anchored defensive players in the game. Flash as well, next to everybody.
They were trying to run through maple syrup, Wyatt. Do not recommend.
Spike down.
3rd round, where Wolves had intentions of going A. This time they commit, and SEN have the full rotate, the full read on them. This is the first time they've actually been able to convert that, though, where they've been able to use that overwhelming initiator utility to halt them at a choke point when they're dropping out of Heaven.
Still a timeout here called for Sentinels. They obviously want to build off that very important round 5 win. And I think they're probably cottoned on to the fact that Wolves are playing at the speed that should allow Sentinels to set up the traps just like that. Have a little bit of advance notice, providing they can maintain some map presence and get some information in those mid rounds.
When we do head back into this on round 6, Wolves are 1 orb away from 4 different ultimates right now. So you have to imagine out of this SEN, they could be setting up a trap. If there's a fight from Wolves to get an orb over to Juicy, maybe get him that showstopper that SEN are going to trigger some kind of fault line into a flash. Second swinging off that. Something that Sentinels are going to have to consider here.
Second struggling with these early encounters with Spring so far, Wyatt. Just a slower start for the Yoru.
Keep up. That's after being on an absolute heater run in the Americas playoffs. Second was an unbelievable duelist there. Early aftershock is going to allow Zekin to press up into main, specifically playing off of that dark cover too. So Wolves are going to have to invest some resources, at the very least this Prowler, to regain space, but that's not enough to force Zekin away.
That instant Viper wall that cuts mid. Wolves looking to make use of that to gain some space, but Zekin eventually has to give up B main.
Enough resources committed, and that dark cover dropping. He knows he's in significantly more danger than Wolves going to pivot towards mid. YU has just been ensuring that no one from Sentinels has pushed too far on this A side. They want to go for the split at the moment.
Nice.
This is dangerous. This is the weakest the A site has been in terms of numbers for Sen, where Wolves are actually going to hit it.
Bang can sense. He can sense something's a bit wrong, Wyatt. And risk of getting pinched now as that Heaven control's been effortlessly taken by Wolves. Given over by Sen. This is the position Bang was playing from the previous round. Here's Juicy, double satchel into elbow. Presumably, oh, it's a devastating push.
I know exactly.
And there it is, Narrate just handled. Spring is nasty. Zakin and Zelsa's doubled up here. Trying to find a way back in, but that Poison Orb is going to deny any more progress. But they're just walking away from this.
Spring always hungry for more, wants to go for the pre-fire even. I mean, the Sen economy isn't great, but neither is Wolves. They would love to carry all of these guns over. Juicy in that round comes up huge on the double satchel. John just not prepared for him to go through elbow, through the molly that was thrown down on the ground. Those are the plays that Juicy will come up with, because he is just so insanely aggro with the satchels. He will commit so hard on those jumps, sometimes going too far. There isn't a follow-up, but when he succeeds, it will outright win rounds for this Wolves squad.
And you can see Sentinels insisting on trying to take some control of the extremities. Into B main, Zekin pushed early in the round. Over on the A side of the map, we saw Bang try and get forward towards YU, but the Cypher from Wolves is not giving anything to Sentinels, playing very passive around their trip, and then Juicy with his free, essentially, Heaven control, has a fantastic execution.
Even in that moment too, Bang felt like he needed to get out of dodge, back screens, there was so much pressure, so he just had the teleport out and was caught by the spam from Spring, who's at a cool 8-2 right now, 6 rounds into the game. He's been getting pivotal first bloods, some nice multi-kills as well.
Same as previously. Aftershock, dark cover just to take that B main control initially. Zekin, though, has been moved to A.
The importance of this round for Sen cannot be understated. This is their economy on the line. You're going to assume they'll probably be using the Seekers at some point to win this out if they can. This would be worth 2 for Wolves. Oh, and Zekin! He can't even get away in time!
YU Anko, too sharp, and straight away we're into the site. Showstopper pop to clear it. Good peek in there from John. Gets down Ramson, at least extracts Spring. A big issue for Sen so far, but Juicy's playing up close here, and Everett cannot win the fight against Silfat. John wants to get there. Oh, they're waiting for him. Juicy sat there and tells us down to a boombot. Okay, it's on Bang. It's doable. Fake TP now, try and pull the wool over Wolves' eyes. But they're looking for
it. A massacre.
YU with the cam, that has to be cleared.
That's going to give away Bang's position. Crucial for Wolves. They can double up, try to face this elbow.
On the angle, Silfat taking a solo fight. Bang gets the head, he says, you're not coming to me?
5 bullets, 5 bullets.
I guess I'm coming to you.
Easy, easy.
5 bullets in the chamber.
Let's go.
Well, that one could have gone either way. That's got Jordan on his feet. Some confidence maybe for Sen now.
Must win round. Economy was hanging in the balance. Imagine Wolves win that round war 2. They get to 7 already on split attack. Major deficit that Sen would have had to overcome. Zekin is just...
Wow.
He's in disbelief at how quick that was.
It's a tight angle to be fair. What's else to say here? Falling the wrong way of the boombot.
You can see Sen there, we're trying to flood back in again. That should be their forte with this comp. They have so many packages to get out through the smokes, but Wolves had fantastic positioning to deny the players like John, who's pooling out of Heaven.
Vipers pit towards mid. Sen have really given up this part of the map in the last couple of rounds. This time, though, they staked their claim.
Okay, nice. Judge is out.
Not again.
Let's go, Sen. Let's go.
Zelsa's having to play through that part of the map with the Judge. Bang has the gap in the poison orb here, but Spring is very much aware of it. Damn, tears strips off him.
He's so good, man. Spring is a menace right now.
And now a break in the action as Wolves look to concentrate over towards this A side of the map where it's really only John in attendance.
Yeah, currently just jiggle peeking.
I saw it.
They're going to send out that flash, perhaps for additional info, but no, isn't going to do so. Just wants to play off Narrate, who's now jump spotting the cross.
John here with a bit of spray. Lysor takes a glancing blow. Okay, looks like that fault line does connect. Slows Wolves up further. Again, we're heading to the 30-second mark in the round, but they begin to have it once more. The timing! John! At least he's
it was a self-stun!
He's got to fight his way out of the corner, but he can't! Caught by the C's. Narrate, though, plants his feet. Sees the double swing coming in, but he's good for it!
Let's go, Narrate, let's go!
Stuck in screens. Spike too far away to recover. SEN looking like they can carry 3 rifles out of the round. Bang won't give him more than that. Wolves, they bleed the clock a lot. 30-second mark, they go for it and they fizzle as they try and hit A.
SEN again, they're able to get 3 players over to that A site in time. Juicy gets a lovely first kill onto Zekin. I think that was John got 1 while stunned up. Yeah, he does. That is so important from John. After getting self-stunned by the close-range Trailblazer. Look at this. That is a beautiful little transfer when Lysor tries to double swing.
That puts a Rolling Thunder online for Sentinels. Now last round they had the Vipers pick to take that mid control. This time, not an option.
Second's actually picked up the Outlaw into this round. Multiple players that could be one shot.
Born clear, there's the Poison Orb blooming in mid.
And this time it's actually Bang who's up really deep in B main. Typically it has been Zekin.
Zilfet's down to 10. He took a hit from that Outlaw. Zelson's backs away into ropes. You can see Zekin now has found himself elsewhere. This is hot and heavy stuff through mid, and Juicy's able to bring Zelson's down.
What a double swing. That was excellent from Wolves.
Now I see a Bang! Can't get a look at him. Instead, tries to sneak up and has an off angle to play with now. He's into Ramen.
Oh, a little bit of damage. Why you? But I mean, ambitious to be fighting that with a classic brother. Wolves have gotten their way into the B site though, knowing it's vacant due to Bang having pushed out the other player going down. John concerned, clearing out Heaven. Try from Lysor, but SEN are good for 2. Everything on the very low HP Sufat.
Scrappy round considering Wolves didn't really have a full buy to work with. Sufat with 10 health. You can't believe Sufat what? Red Bull clutch!
Impossible clutch! No HP! Just the Sheriff! The trade wasn't fast enough from SEN. They cannot be losing that.
He took an Outlaw hit at the start of the round. With the Sheriff, he proved that the town ain't big enough for the 2 of them. Or 3 in that case. Unbelievable. It's barely checked for.
He ate that Outlaw shot earlier. One of the only players that actually had full armor. I think there were 2 for Wolves.
Yeah, that's a stand-up. That's a stand-up.
Even the little bicep flex. Did you see the gym area? No, that was Forsaken. Down there. Forsaken. That boy's looking shredded, not gonna lie.
I mean, you have got to call your timeout here. This is the second Sentinels timeout for the map. Called in round number 10. Kaplan very adamantly trying to assert himself here. As that really should have been a SEN round, dead to rights. It's that individual brilliance that really comes to shine on a stage like this one, Wyatt. Nobody could have seen that coming.
Wolves were doing a great job controlling the map early, but Bang, heroic again in that round. He gets that trade on the spring, catches out. Wyatt who's playing from sewer, then they get in 3v3, they trade things down. There's just no way they should lose that. There's just no way. Sufat is on one at the moment. And this is just an aspect of Wolves. They are volatile. But when these players are hitting on the same day, they have shooters. They are so dangerous. But when things are going wrong, they're disjointed, they just look like a totally different team. You didn't know which one you're gonna get, but we got Wolves at their finest to open up this game.
Spring actually wants to challenge the smoke here.
Yeah, it's playing off that wall. Earlier was very passive when this dark cover was up.
He has to suspect that maybe the Ori's got tucked there in B main. We'll check back in on that story.
Paranoia is going to keep Juicy at
I'm
bay,
gonna
but Bang still feels like he needs to give up a fair amount of that space. SEN are making a multi-man pivot towards this A site. I mean, typically when noise had been made there, Wolves are just hard committing. You know, they had a couple rotates to B, but that was like 20 seconds left. SEN have typically had a great read on these situations.
Once again, Wolves using every second of the round to explore the map, but Juicy explores the
God!
Bang's cranium, what? He just takes the fights and wins them. That severely reduces SEN's presence on A. Even John peels off from screens maybe to go back around, but it's a heaven fight brewing. Celsius seems to know it. It's a really bit picked there from Lysol that allows Celsius to find his own two.
The vibes merchant. Way back in the round, playing a weird angle second.
Finally wins that fight, Wyatt.
Let's go, boy. Let's go.
So dangerous towards B.
2v3.
30 seconds left.
Cam cleared. Looks like the move is over towards ropes here for Wolves. SEN have all pulled back to the B site.
This A site is going to be completely open. Juicy, with all of the kills he's been finding, has the showstopper active.
Yo, they should avoid.
That could be the crux of a round win. In fact, look at his position. He's pushing all the way through screens right now. He wants to take an early fight. This dimensional drift. That's going to spot him out. I mean, this is a must-win right now for SEN. Look at their economy. Has to be committed.
Juicy can't gun down another brace of two this time, but out. The dimensional drift comes second. He is handled. YU is ready for the clone. Here's the double swing now through elbow. He's low. Nice! In the war of attrition, one out by Sentinels. Gets him within a 2-round striking distance. Boy, they've had to fight tooth and nail for every single one of these rounds.
Celsius is simply the hero of this round.
Guys, I don't know.
Juicy winning 2 isolated 1v1s. And Celsius knows someone has to be the guy to save this round. I might as well do it. I'm just going to play a weird off angle when they push up into heaven. I just have to get a multiple. That's the only way back in, and he pulls it off.
Round 11 coming at you. That showstopper still there for Juicy. Rolling Thunder for Narrate.
Come on, guys.
Hell of a lot of ults right now for Wolves. They've got that showstopper to get into a site. They're even one away from the Nightfall and then throw down that pit to close things out in the post plant.
Narrate here just going to play up that fault line in case there's a faster hit towards B main. Oh, spring court. Second sees it. Nice little 1-2 punch, but quickly Juicy activates over at the A side, and John QT is blown to smithereens. Bang was hoping to find Siufat there, but the Crowler comes out instead. And Lysor is a little bit out of
his. He is so overextended and caught. 3v4. If Siufat can get this spike down, he's going to have the Nightfall. That could be enough to turn the tide, despite being at a man disadvantage right now for Wolves.
Neural theft there for YU. Gatecrest sent across to the A side now. It's going to be Juicy sat in elbow.
They have slowed things down, not trying to commit to the plan at the moment.
What is the plan supposed to be? Siufat obviously spike carrier. He's inching forward.
This has been enough time for Narrate's fault line to actually cycle back up. So when the spike does eventually get tapped, there's even more util for SEN to flood in off of.
Okay, I think SEN still confirmed though that Wolves are staying. Here is the rolling thunder. This could get ugly. YU on Rafter finds one, but second trades it instantly. Cancel from the shadow. They're not checking it. Bang's able to salvage now for the 1 versus 1.
He's caught with a util out. There's just no way they should be winning this round. There is just no way. SEN man advantage, massive util advantage. Wolves slow down the game. Less time when they actually have to get the spike down, where SEN can exploit that by cutting in, pressuring so hard. They just don't check that corner. They don't think he can be tucked.
I definitely think there's some overheating going on in the SEN camp now, and there's no more opportunities for Kaplan to intercede.
That looks like a bit of frustration coming out from Narrate late in this half.
Attempt. Bang goes to take that 1 versus 1.
Look at the buy now from SEN, their last chance to get around on split defense. Only 4 to their name before the side swap.
This time there's a lot more presence in B main. Zekinen had to be ready in the double swing, catches him off guard. Narrate peels off the line, doesn't want to handle it.
Wolves, in this round, they say, all right, Spring, you're starting to have a little trouble. Let's get you some backup, stack up with multiple players. This time, we're going to overwhelm SEN, who have been happy to fight for that space to find the opening pick. Love that decision from Wolves.
Bang is tentatively looking to retake this ropes position. All of SEN are grouped up. 3 down mid. Wolves are pretty diligently trying to clear their way into B, but this will take some time. This will buy some time for the flanking troop of Sentinels to wrap around. It's being watched for by YU though. Better weapon. No stingers are not going to hit hard enough at that range. Now the Nightfall over to the B site. Nobody here for SEN. They've all peeled off. There's more on the flank. YU checking for it with the camera. Sees it all. Paranoia comes in but only catches onto the Cypher. There's a real fight here in B main. And Wolves slap Sentinels down. Narrate's just had to jump into the pit. No other choice for it. He gets rid of it though with Spring falling. That's the Viper out of the way. Now Narrate can heal back up, but Juicy's waiting for him. It's a 8-4 half here. Wolves introducing SEN to that Chinese Valorant in the most brutal way possible.
They are being outshot. The mechanics right now are just simply better for Wolves. Spring, dominant. Juicy's entry is incredible.
All right, we're going to do a break, folks. When we come back, more of splitting this game between SEN and Wolves after this.
At all where Wolves were having to go for big buys, having to eco. Their economy was stable throughout that entire half.
The number 3 seed from China, who honestly, in a world where EDG doesn't have a generational crash out in their sort of domestic playoffs, and not even here, are absolutely handling Sentinels here on Split. Holding them to only 4 defense side rounds, 2 timeouts already blown by SEN, frustration already bubbling to the surface for this North American squad.
Coming into this game, you're acknowledging the peaks and dips that Wolves had. The fact that they 2-0 Billy Billy to qualify, but then lose 0-3 to Billy Billy in the lower final. This team, when they're hitting though, like they are today, individually are so sick. I mean, Juicy, Sufan, Spring are putting on a show. The 1v1s, the raw duels are just going the way of Wolves right now. SEN need to wake up.
Lysol gets first contact here at B. This is going to draw Sufat over towards that side of the map through Spawn, but SEN are far from committed.
Waiting right now to just play off of this fault line. Dark cover is going to get thrown down B main by Lysar over there on B, who's stacked up. Sufat, Rally there is going to get some information onto Bang. SEN just slowly taking their time, posturing up. It's looking like an oncoming B split.
That smoke indicates potential ropes control, but SEN do not have the players on that A side of the map. Definitely going to see them pivot here. And they're trying to cut off Rafters with that smoke to maybe take Heaven control. He's a Paranoid that collects cleanly on a Spring. Juicy, though, playing from within the smoke, deals with Zelsis. And there's a way for Second to really get past that, but Sufat trying to hold on the site. He's dug out easily. Second has that Rafters control, and low as he is, Sentinels have been able to clear Wolves. Player advantage now, Spike to go down.
Let's see what Spring can do. Working his way into Heaven slowly, has to wait for this dark cover to fade.
Peers down ropes, doesn't see anything. YU decides this is the time to activate From the defender side, Spawn, Spring wins the duel. That's Beacon. Why are you doing as well? They can! It's down under 8. Has a flash to work with. Lets it go.
He has the old Sen
It's a matter of
classic.
playing time, something that Sen couldn't do in that first half when it needed
Old Sen
to
classic
happen.
can do wonders, bhai.
And now it's ring around the rosy, folks, but now we're going to see them clash.
Nice!
Right click for
Let's go,
Narrates.
bhai. Let's
Gives
go,
Sen the
let's go.
staging ground on this attack side they were sorely needing.
Desperately for Sen to get back into this game. Get things started right in this second half after not being able to get anything started in the first. And it looked like even here, they were about to once again succumb to the aim of these Wolves players. Spring isolated 1v1 taken against Bang. Gets the adjustment.
Juicy didn't realize there were 2 players in that heaven smoke. Zekin slipped the net and was able to pick Sufat off on the site. Anti-eco now for Sentinels. Phantom for John.
This is just full 5 classic save here for the Wolves team, so Sen shouldn't be succumbing to too much damage here, ideally.
Trying to get those orbs into Zekin's hands, though. Get those dimensional drifts rolling early.
Yeah, that is the name of the game when you're running Yoru. That has been one of, if not the most relevant meta ults this entire year. Round defining.
My camera is
Laborious, but the cam is cleared. Sentinels crossing to take that heaven control, but as we speak, Wolves are coming up from ropes. Spraying through the smoke, Zekin, much to his chagrin, takes some damage that is seized in place. He's able to get at least far enough away from the snake bite, and even a paint shell is committed by Wolves. That's a lot of util drawn out.
Good little combo. It was close to getting one. In the meantime, he has just been slow getting into this side, and he's calling for the rest of the team to pivot over now.
Is this an overpush?
Free now. Almost.
Run.
Superior weapon comes out on top.
Great mid smoke here. Might be a flash out of it. Sufat's going to have to face them down.
Nice.
The Zekin's going to be able to stinger. Juicy from the smoke.
Nice.
Emerge, and Zekin will dispatch them. Just YU now. It's outfoxing Zekin. But all things considered, pretty clean anti-eco for Sen gets the 6.
And it gets Second just 1 orb away from the dimensional drift, so they can play to that as a win con now on this bonus. Give Wolves a taste of their own medicine for how they were able to open the game, how they were able to get up in such a significant lead early. A bonus round win here should effectively tie things up, would be worth 2.
Nice pivot there from Sen. With that mid control smoke to ropes and then face Wolves as they try and push out.
You see in that moment what we're going to be seeing a lot of on this attack side, which is just an infinite amount of flashes to pop out of these smokes as a team from Sen.
Bonus hit for Sen, see Zekin with a stinger in hand. John checks Heaven and is very lightly held. Wolves have a player in ropes, one just entering that part of the map. Sufat looks to re-clear.
Sufat's actually swinging out. Does have to back away, does have to give that space up. Sen are getting very active right now in Heaven. A lot of control. Wolves pivoting multiple players back. Side to anchor, Spring. Crucial 1v1.
Interestingly, Wolves playing around this smoke, not looking to get entrenched in elbow, just want to play forward. Spring pops his head up and it's whack-a-mole for John. The double swing. The stinger gets some value though, and Narrate's able to hold it down from ramp. This just leaves Sufat in screens, and why you? With these rifles, this 4 buy for Wolves. Have to untangle this round, but Sen are giving them nothing, Wyatt.
Unfortunately, this round is displaying what has been a major issue for Wolves defensively on this map. They'll get in positions to flood, but there will be too many isolated duels. Things will get a little disconnected. You had 2 players on site in that smoke, but they didn't pop out at the same time that Spring was swinging open in Heaven. He just goes down on his own in this moment to John. There are 2 players to his right, but there's no one to swing out to help because it's just not coordinated on that timing. And this is going to get Sen an opportunity to tie the game 8-8. This is really my goal for Wolves coming into this match.
There's no initial anchoring presence on that site for Wolves either. They had to awkwardly filter in as Heaven's being taken. Spring passive hold in mid. This is awkward now. No one to swing off that line, and we are caught in the aftershock. Narrate guarantees that easy kill.
Nice.
3 players with Sheriff.
Hold it.
All that Wolves have to their name.
For the love of God, hold it. Hold.
For Sen to have this level of momentum coming into the second half. Their economy is absolutely rolling.
Okay, now they have to
Unlikely
clear
that Wolves
fade.
will be able to get any damage outside.
Salah
I don't
isne
know, maybe
clutch kiya
one
tha,
kill.
pata hai,
Sufat can
economy.
get a nice little jiggle peek here, but this is going to put Sen
these
ahead by a
TPA.
significant margin and apply so much pressure to each of these buy rounds that Wolves are going to have in subsequent rounds.
Well, death and taxes. Silver's able to find his one. It doesn't really change the fact that Sen are crawling over this A site like a kicked anthill. And there are only 2 sheriffs for Wolves to try and extract them. Silver doubles back here.
And follow the Instagram channel.
Prowler down ramp.
Join the
No one there.
Discord
Sen are
server.
just
Instagram or
drenched on
Discord
this A
server
site,
links
ready to
है
fight
वो
for it.
Are in the description. And subscribe to the
Except
channel
the
for
Wolves players ready to
more
play
watch
for
parties
exits if
and
they can
more streaming. मैं
take one of these
stream करने
guns
वाला था
away.
by the way.
I still got a rifle.
But मेरा कुछ in-game issue आ गया था जिसके चक्कर में
Comes
मैं
Zel's
नहीं कर पाया.
fallen
So
weapon,
I will
presumably.
try कि मैं stream करूँ.
One of the 20
But now
flashes
it's
they
Master
have
Toronto
to
time.
take a
Watch
peek.
one.
Ooh, there's number 19.
They can easily drift out.
Oh, I love that foul line. Just as Sen crossing, making sure no one can peer in. Lysol never had an opportunity to take a fight, but he will be allowed to walk away with this rifle. However,
Let's go, Sen.
Sen City have evened up this game, folks. On a run after winning the pistol in the second half. And Wolves starting to whimper a little in that round.
And Sen have more than a real opportunity to extend this run to 5 rounds straight. Given the ultimates that they have when we get out of this timeout that's being called by Wolves.
You will have a good
The
time.
pivotal round in the game. This is 3 round coming up where Sen can outright win. They have a Rolling Thunder and a Dimensional Drift. Wolves have nothing to use in the ult department outside of a null theft, and obviously that is a one-sided map when we're talking about the ult economy.
Let's
get this shit.
The Bishop reception.
Wolves are going to need to tighten up their floods right now. They're going to have to be able to absorb this Sentinel's utility when it's coming into the site, not drop players anchoring. There's too much initiator util. There are too many flashes to play around. The ults are going to be too much to play around. They're going to need to find a way to absorb all of that, not go down, and then tighten up those timings when they're going to try to flood back in after the fact.
Really volatile attack side from Wolves, but it was enough to catch Sen off guard on multiple occasions. On this side of the map, though, with Sentinels being able to dictate the pace, Wolves have looked a little bit disjointed, a little less comfortable. Now, though, they're going to buy coming back in. 4 rounds in a row given over to Sentinels. An even game for us as we head into round number 17.
Sentinels have the spike over towards
this
that.
is John QT,
The
bhai,
side
let's
certainly
go.
implying that they want to go for a split.
dynamic
This is what they did earlier. They have Zekin and Zelsis,
They were trying to
that
pick
duo
John QT
working
on
mid.
Cypher. पहले John QT Teho खेलता
The
था
rest
ना.
of the team take B main.
But after Teho के nerf के बाद तो मतलब there is
Dimensional
another
drift.
scenario.
Zek's been eating those orbs.
Zekin's going to get all of this info and then can get away to B main if he needs to. This is why you genuinely want to fight this. He needs to get out of here right now. He's going back in to fight Zekin. This is mental.
Bone thrown out. Waiyu is going to be in trouble. Just set up on all sides.
Yes, we
No
got this.
escape.
Come on, let's go.
Spring tries to help him out, bail him out. He gives himself up as well. This is the rifle round for Wolves. And they're at such a massive disadvantage already.
5v3, 5v3, 5v3.
It's
We
just
can bring this
disjointed.
back, guys. Easy.
They're not operating as a full team in that moment. Wyu makes too reckless of a
saving?
decision
Oh, yeah,
trying to get back
they will
in
go
there.
bankrupt. अगर
He's
ये
going
round
to get
जीतते हैं,
overwhelmed
ये round
and
हारते
does.
हैं, Wolves तो they will go bankrupt.
At
उनके पास
best,
threads नहीं
maybe
है.
goes 1 for 1.
They don't
And
have
then
threads.
Spring feels
बाकी
like he
Sen
needs
के
to
पास
come
they are
in to help.
snowballing right
No
now.
one else is on the rotate over just yet. They were
हाँ,
trying
वो
to
save
pivot
कर रहे
over
थे, they're
mostly
calling
from
for
that
a
A side.
उनके पास
Not
gun-
close to
threads नहीं
assist.
है for weapon.
Pretty devastating.
Yeah, they're saving.
At least for Wolves, with this save, they'll have an opportunity for redemption on this next round. Not a blowout, not going to have to eco, not allow Sen to get to 10 with ease. But they are truly in the danger zone. They are still staring down the barrel of that Rolling Thunder from the raid, and now John has the Seekers. Just a streamline of ultimates from Sen to get advantages in all of these important gun
I
rounds.
guess Teho, मेरे हिसाब
To
से-
send that such
okay,
a
this is my thought,
cost-effective
okay.
round
I think
win, where they just commit the dimensional drift.
Teho के
They
meta
realize
में
that
ना,
Waiyu
like
is still on that B
players को
site. They
including
set a 4-1 up for
competitive
Zekin
pro
to
play को
fight, and
बहुत
Waiyu
आलसी बना दिया
decides
था.
he wants to double back.
Basic हो गया
Now
था,
that
like, you
animated
just go
looking Wolf
and
squad really just buoyed forward by the momentum from some of their individual plays and gone quiet and have gone off the boil.
और मैं टेस्ट कर रहा था कि
Look
टेओ
at their
के
manufacture here. Still a buy for them in fairness. 2 half armors, but reasonable arsenal all things considered.
टैग करते हो ना
Sen posted up right now
if
for
you are
that
on
ramp
full
take.
armor you
It's
still
narrow
survive on full
fault line.
और तो वो बहुत बड़ा
It's
ना
but it's just spammed through.
nice one
Juicy here. The only player occupying heaven right now. That TP sound cue for him just makes him uncomfortable, forces him down. Spring will be there on the top of Bro.
The aftershock, able to dodge it, and Lysor catches out Bang to even things up. Juicy is a wild player.
And managed to spray through the walls from both teams. Live by the sword, Bang, die by the sword as well.
Sen are going for the noise cut right now.
they're cutting noise.
Still just have, it's this duo, Zelsis and Zekken, who are working the map
उनको कोई और पे
together
fake
on
करना
so
पड़ेगा,
many
तभी उन
of
लोगों
these
को पता
rounds,
चलेगा।
trying to contact up, take this space.
There's no way Spring's ready
Spring
for this.
is just...
panicking.
Oh, wait, the timing? He's turned! Brings him up! Why are you the sole player over the B side of the map? And this is going to get a bit hairy for him. Does he choose to try and fight, to commit to this engagement? Got a trap wire on the side. Cam also set up. He's going to play close under rafters, but he is overrun by the double swing.
30 seconds left.
Juicy, ascending with bleed, fighting through tier 2 to make it back onto this team when it wasn't a spot for him in Pacific.
किसी के nose एक बंदा flank आता है.
He's going to go looking via Ramen.
Had to wait years to get this opportunity.
Okay,
Has a rifle right now. Can he be the hero?
Surely not another save for Wolves. They're starting to get a little bit desperate.
Already, the time has just dropped so low for them.
They're giving it up.
Damage doesn't even matter. Look at the state of Sen's economy.
Oh my god,
multiple
man,
players on 8K.
And honestly, this run of rounds devastating. That is 6 rounds in a row for Sentinels. Now starting to put the timer on Wolves, threatening to close the game out. With the 2-gun save, though, they can definitely distribute enough around to keep themselves well armed. But there's a rolling thunder still waiting in the wings for Sen to make use of. And you can see it now. They've shaken those jitters off.
These late anchor attempts just continue to get overwhelmed entirely. Sen players.
Just a glimpse of them through that wall and Bang is... I mean, that boy don't miss. Sheesh.
Catch on the Spring is so unfortunate. Almost had the turn. But Zekken had already gone to the close road.
It's a goal!
Wolves calling their second timeout now of the game. As things have completely gotten out of hand. 6-round run for Sen on this side.
Can definitely feel like we're starting to get to the most important round of the game here in round number 19. When we jump back in, Wolves will have been able to buy up. Close to a Nightfall, close to a Viper's Pit. Honestly, a lot of those big ultimates are just around the corner for them, but they want to be able to make use of them when they're in a good position economically. And this round would be one of those opportunities. Elsewhere, Narrator's run away with the game on an individual level now. He's sitting on that Breach ultimate. Those hard sight hits already. Wolves have struggled with the pace that Sen have come at them with on this attack side. That's going to make it even harder.
It was Nerit's clutch back on the pistol round that has gotten them in this position. That's what kicked it off. Wolves yet to do anything highly proactive early in these rounds. Not really taking the fight to Sen too aggro. It's a little too much anchoring attempt against this comp from Sen that is too overwhelming on the execs. Feels like they gotta play for something aggro early, take some space, find some picks, or tighten up those floods, play for that as a win con, especially if they're able to get this Nightfall somewhere for Sufat.
Play info then.
Full armor for Wolves. A very respectable buy, all things considered, maybe a little neutral light, but that is fine.
They have actually opted to just give up this B site. They have a kill trip set up that
What is Spring?
why he was hoping to just get a spam kill from.
The Spring wants to fight even rafters. What is that? Unhinged from Spring.
Oh, desperate from Spring to try and get something done.
But he's on his own. We talked about this. Out of the open, trying to take a duel as a Viper. Here's that attack side, Viper's Pit. Lysor trying to get busy now. No Zekken is in the corner, but the shot comes calling.
Zekken.
With the Pride of New Jersey, will have his pound of flesh. Juicy dropping down. Pit still active, of course. Juicy trying to disrupt.
One more kill and he'd actually get the showstopper.
That would be perfect against this Viper's Pit. Can he find it safely? They're on a clock. 2 players left here for Wolves. Losing this round will banish them to the economic doldrums, and John waits patiently for his prey. Juicy serves it up. Sufat has to walk away now.
We still have breach ult.
Maybe an exit or so. There's no stopping the SEN economy. It is absolutely booming. Sufat will do what he can. On the rope, Celsius, an homage to his mate Asuna, I'm sure. That's SEN with 3 rounds in the lead, and we're out of our seats once more.
It looked like Wolves had the right approach there. They were just playing off of a kill trip. They give up the site, allow the stack on A. So if SEN do hit A, they've got 3 players there ready to go. And then when necessary, we'll move over, pivot into a flood, or just go for a full retake. Either one would have been highly recommended over that disjointed effort they came in. So unfortunate. This is it for Wolves. Full investment, 4 ultimates on the board.
Standing up is enjoying it.
And a slow start here for Sentinels. They do
I think Valorant
have Bang
is
pushed
more
up into B main though.
mental-based, like,
Why are
अगर तुम्हारा
you
mental
very
ठीक होगा
passive
तो
on this
like
side of the map? So
बहुत
last round,
unlocked
Wolves,
into it, then you
in
are
theory,
you are playing
gave up
good.
that B side until Spring decided to ungive it up. We all know how that went. Prowler into B main, they're clearing it. Spring pops that poison orb now, probably has a feeling there's quite a few players here. Is that Snakebite quick enough? Bang gets ahead of much of this util now. And there's a Nightfall. Gonna reveal his location.
Would have been a lot of trouble. This Prowler fully spotting him out. Spring is steadfast right now. Just has not been able to get started on this defensive side. Wants to go for the peak. Can he actually catch the timing right now?
No one in heaven to be affected by that.
That's the spike down.
Push from Spring. Bang. Just gets the spike, gets out, but he knows he's going to be pursued. Why you from the low ground's not able to win it out? And here's a showstopper from Juicy.
Blinded.
Where does this one go? Unfortunately, into the rafters. No connection. Second gate crash into the back of the site. Spike though is loose out in the middle of B.
Spring now trying to get back in. That distraction from the showstopper was enough for Sufat to get them that man advantage. 25 seconds right now. The spike is down in the site. Sentinels have to fully commit. This is the best opportunity Wolves have had.
Dangerous double swing. Yep, that's got to be double held that angle. The second goes into. Narrate tried to set him up with a forward line, and now it's down to Zelsus in the dying seconds of the round, but he's hit with the paranoia.
10 seconds
Nearsighted, player in heaven. One on boxes and Sufat towards his left. It is a ridiculous stacked deck against him. And so Wolves finally dig their heels in.
We are in the
They waited a long time for this round, their first of the half.
They can breathe a bit of a sigh of relief, but they were finally able to get on the board here. Finally able to make some adjustments. Spring biding his time in vents. SEN not expecting him to pop out so late. Catches that first kill. And then they do flood back into the site. They are playing together. Juicy gets that great showstopper. He didn't actually get a kill, but he was a hell of a distraction for the Anchors to be able to pick up those players that were on site to find the advantage. Wolves are back in the game, but SEN still have too much cash.
Sees here, Bang. Has the TP away from it. It was a fault line that directly connected with Juicy, but team's util bailed him out.
Again, I like this from Wolves out of that previous timeout. It was called by Coach Fade. They're stacking up towards A, allowing B just to be played for passive kill trips. If SEN do go towards this site, they're going to be running into so many players.
Scout destroyed.
Trailblazer goes up ramps here. SEN still haven't taken much control of the A side, but up mid they're starting to poke and prod.
Second did teleport away to meet up with the rest of the pack. The entire SEN team are about to be in mid right now. Spring could be in some danger here. He's tucked in a corner. He can't get out to the left side. Now could with the dark cover placed.
Gonna let them cross mid.
Oh, wait a minute.
Mostly undetected. See, Wolves now starting to forge ahead for a bit of information. That re-clear of B, his main was too early.
Yeah, that was some false info. Wait, I mean, they do still have 3 players here, though, actually, Wolves. They had not departed from this site.
The cam's there as well. YU likely able to spot Sentinels out of here. They come. Viper's Pit used defensively to try to stop them in their tracks for Zekin. Game crosses on the site. Spring inside the Viper's Pit. We have a TP by Bang to the back of the site. He clears a trap wire though, so has to give himself away. And it's getting messy in the Viper's Pit. The spray is there. Bang's able to bring Juicy down. Now 3 up for Wolves still. With the Viper's Pit, they slow SEN down to a crawl.
Great read on the situation. Even after that Prowler that gave false info, they stayed committed into that site with multiple players. Sufat ready for the teleport back from Zekin. It didn't end up paying off, but that little kill trip back there is also to deal with Zekin. If he just runs forward, he's caught, because that is your standard gate crash location from the get in deep while the rest of the team come out main, but they couldn't. They were cut off by that pit. Perfect timing from Spring. The past 2 rounds, he is getting involved on this defensive half after being just going cold for that early SEN run.
Now this is getting interesting. 1 round in the game, both teams with full buys.
And the Sentinels' economy is actually being depleted at this point. At one point, having 3 players with 8+K.
Spring here sees the clone come in. Paranoia hit.
The
Bang's gonna try and walk away. He gets
Oh
TP out.
my god!
Great little combo again.
The reaction from Bang was so fast there. All right, pressure onto Lifesword. Backside has to go off.
Flashed. Fault line doesn't quite hit him. Lifesword trying to
Okay.
Gets twisted. What a whiff! Here though, the control from screens is good, and Zek is out in the open. John able to find Juicy at the very least, and now they've evened up the odds. Why you tentative about playing from Rafters? The spike though still off the A side. Zelsus though is in there.
That Neural Theft getting some serious value for Wolves. Game slowing down right now. Sentinels want to see if they're going to peek out. It's all on YU 1 versus 2 as Sentinels are going to get a match point. We saw Bang win a clutch in this exact same situation in that first half. Can YU do the same?
He's going natty. None of that side for Utah is here on A. Nothing but that raw gun skill. Instead of trying to draw him out, tapping the spike. Still 23 seconds left of the round. And YU has been ever so patient. John sticks it for real though.
Planted.
Now Zelsus and John grouped up here. Looks like Zelsus should be watching this line, and YU swings it! 1 round away from a map win for Sentinels. And the vibes are looking pretty good.
John and Zelsus just watching each other's backs, trying to bait out that swing. Love the way they play that. It was looking so good for Wolves when they had that double face coming from screens. Juicy comes out of heaven. But it's that additional swing where John finds that kill to make it a 2 versus 2 that puts him in a winnable position. IGL, they're stepping up for SEN when necessary.
Never trash talk before winning.
Wolves are in the right place at the right time again, but SEN come out on top. Match point, opportunity to steal away Wolves' pick.
And a dimensional drift to start the round for second, but Spring's already found something. Zelsus straight down mid.
I think that was just spam down mid.
This time he gets to the back of the site. There's no trip here to stop Zekin though, so SEN have this big control. Prowler thrown out once again. Bang has to TP away. And it's Narrate with the spike in hand. They've got to be concerned about this heaven control. Wolves have 3 players up there, and the Seekers are going to confirm this largely.
John wants to go for the reflank. The mid is actually tripped right now. That one-way trip is still, or one-way unbreakable rather, is still up there, so he's going to have to deal with that.
Okay, Juicy flies in, the judge! Zekin's able to trade it out. Gate crashed now to a safer position. Bang is still on the side. Zekin runs into light.
He's coming on the flank, but Zekin is going off!
Just John now.
They know he should be here. He had to break the trip.
The timing, John's going to commit to the site. Spring down through the smoke. Silfat on the other side of the dark cover. John, very, very low, but he's buying time.
He got it to half. There's no way. There's just no way he can stick it.
Reload आ गया.
Silfat saves the map for Wolves. Gets it to half. Then knows that John can only give him a tickle of the avian variety. Just throws a flash in, and that's all he can muster.
Easy.
He's been the IGL team leader and clutch merchant for Wolves. Both halves winning critical rounds. Juicy just goes 1 for 1, but what a distraction for the rest of the team to get back in. And the fact that mid was tripped, John just couldn't actually accelerate to help these guys. Second almost came up with that multi-kill.
Almost John QT.
And now it's awkward for SEN. 2 stingers to their name.
And now that we've just gotten into this retake, better flood territory, Wolves are wrangling this game back. Multiple stingers for SEN.
But a couple Guardians for Wolves. Neither team are comfortable economically.
Wolves are a couple orbs away here from critical ultimates. Nightfall, Showstopper. Only requiring 1 each.
Do they dare push up for that? There's no way. Why are you anchored on the site? We'll have Juicy on Rafters early. This might be signaling an A split through rope here by Sentinels. Trip cleared. Clone gonna eat it up now. How do you respond as the defenders?
At the moment. Wolves are posturing towards B heaven. That's actually going to be a teleport to get info in A main and a cancel. But John,
it's false info.
A bit far back, as is Zelsis. This hasn't called for any adjustment in the Wolves' positioning. Here comes this breach utility, guys. We're definitely pivoting into B. I swear.
He's selling it.
I swear we're going B.
The right even gives up a bit of his health in order to sell, and he does keep Juicy interested at B for now. Heaven control for Sentinels.
Okay, crash deep from second. Fake teleport.
Bang caught in the seas, but will heal back up after the decay. Sealfat here. Oh, Spring wants to take the fight characteristically. Also, Sen running over this A site. 10 seconds left for a spike point, though. It's got to happen soon. It's second into the fault line.
GT has the showstopper. Oh, but he goes down.
Nice. There it is, folks. John runs wide you down and Sen after a paltry 4 defense side rounds. Come alive in Toronto.
Wolves on an unreal run to open this game on attack, going up 8-4. Multiple players hitting hard, but what a comeback for Sen.
And that's just the first map of this series, folks. We've still got Lotus on the horizon, plenty of opportunities for Wolves to break back in. Do not go anywhere. This series promises to be electric.
Nice, boys! Let's go!
Let's go, boys!
Nice, Sean!
Bro, this mother smiles at me, bro. Win this shit. Got mine, and that's what matters. This, bro. That's it.
Gonna break.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Coach Kaplan. Now, Coach, that was a close game. I mean, thank God it didn't go overtime, right? Did anything surprise you from the side of the Wolves?
Nothing surprised us, but some of the stuff that we anticipated, it's hard to find practice against. You know, they're from a different region, they play a different way, so I think executing some of the ideas we had proved harder than we wanted on defense, but we were all confident we'd bring it back on attack.
Good luck on Lotus. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sentinels really giving their fans in the arena something to cheer for. What a start from them. I am Youngsun. I'm back here with Ender and Mel. It was close. It was very, very close, Mel. I think a lot closer than we anticipated.
I think a lot of people were not expecting it to be that close. I mean, not, 45 minutes ago, I was here on the desk saying, yeah, Sen's got this, absolutely. And it got extremely close to the point where I thought they were going to lose the map.
I mean, honestly, the first half, like, they were getting crushed. Like, Spring's lurks were so effective. I think the just clutchness out of the Wolves players was looking incredibly good. It wasn't until the second half when Sentinels got onto attack, Narrate had those few clutch rounds on the pistol and on the bonus that got things swinging back in their favor.
Yeah, and that brings us to our Verizon high-speed moment, and it goes to Bang for an incredible 4K at this point, and to even keep them in this match.
Yeah, and again, it's all set up with a Narrate stun. These 4 players flat out. There's a flash from John QT, then the stun from Narrate, and then Bang just lines them all up. I mean, this is Sentinel's team play at its final, and it's Bang to shine.
I mean, this is like the perfect dream situation as an anchor player. The stun hits, the flash hits, and no one's looking at you. I mean, this is just the meat and potatoes. This is amazing.
You gotta feel sorry on the other side for Lysor as well, because he was playing in that position a lot in the second half. Thanks, Celsius, for that. But Mel, Lysor, 2 crucial rounds, maybe whipping a little bit, maybe the pressure on stage, maybe could have made the difference.
The difference in between those positions, like you said, played the exact same position, but the difference could not be more staggeringly different. Like, there's one round where there's 2 sets of util, and there's one round he's just dry peeking. He has opportunity, but he can't capitalize.
And if that was the first time we've seen John QT play Sky on Sentinels, he hasn't done it for this team yet. Was that the plug-and-play that you expected when you saw the agent select?
To a certain extent, right? The Teo, the Sky both give some information. I mean, Sky is actually even better in terms of the info, but I think that what we were seeing a lot from John was more sort of set up for his teammates to go into sight with the flashes. There were a lot of rounds where Narrate was actually banking flashes deep into the rounds, and it was him comboing with the stun to go into the sights, and it was just so many of these 5-player hits that John just kept calling over and over to win on the exec game.
And I think that's a great read from him as an IGL, understanding the win conditions of their composition, because Wolves on their side, very slow game plan, very contacty.
Yeah.
Sentinels, IGL, like John, completely understanding that they need to have very tight executes, and the ults especially, the ult rounds were just beautiful.
The ults were a consistent winning factor for Sentinels, because in that second half, they're down 8-4. It's looking grim for them, right? But winning pistol, winning the bonus, that sets them up to get their ults online first. And then, because they start winning these rounds with their ultimate so quickly on the 5-player execs John was calling, you have so many situations where the Fade and the Rays from Wolves are saving on those players, not getting their ults online. It wasn't until round 21 that they had a Fade or Rays ult. They win that one and make it close.
Yeah, as we move on to the next map of Pearl, this is where our questions go towards the side of Narrate. What is he gonna play? Not Pearl, sorry, I trolled. Lotus even.
Lotus, there we go.
I wish it was Pearl. It would have been fun between these 2 teams. But for Lotus, what does Narrate do here? You know, Sky, probably not. Probably not, right, Mel?
Yeah, and I think that's something from Wolves' perspective, it's kind of hard to prep for. I mean, already the first match that you're playing at Masters Toronto, you're already going in blind considering the map pool changes and the patch changes, but especially when you're dealing with a team like Sentinels where several players in the team can play Initiator, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen and who's playing what.
Yeah, honestly, I'm expecting to see some Fade coming online. I think Fade's so strong on this map, and if it's plug and play, Sky is a split map, or Split's a Sky map, Lotus is a Fade map.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what we're going to get in terms of comps. But for now, let's send it back to Jen and see what Coach Fade had to say ahead of map 2.
Hello everyone, Jen Lee here with Coach Fade. Now Fade, split did not go your way, but the potential was definitely there. So what do you think you guys need to do on Lotus to take it to map 3?
I think we have to clean up some nerves in our own team, and we had a lot of miscommunication earlier during the second half especially. So once we get that sorted, I think we will be fine on second map and third map.
All right, thank you, and good luck on Lotus.
I think we saw some of those nerves that he was talking about, but that IGL, Sufat, I didn't think he was nervous at all. He was hitting his shots, the fade didn't look too bad.
Sheriff?
Right, it happened, almost
insane.
happened twice as well. But Mel, he usually plays the Tejo here on Lotus. What do you think he's going to play this time?
I'm curious to know as well, because I'm not really sure. Because I think a lot of it, to go back to what he was saying about the nerves, I think is probably the most important thing, because on defense, I actually thought that Wolves could have gone away with that 10-2.
Honestly.
They had a lot of advantages, and Sentinels as well on the defense. Historically, they op a lot on the defense on split, and notably, this is the first time I've really seen them not bring it out, and that is a very intentional choice, and Kaplan even touched on it, saying, I think some of our defense game plans didn't perfectly go through, so a lot of it, I feel like, does come down to Wolves. Can you capitalize on the mistakes and the flaws in their game plan? Can you pull up? Can you actually meet the pressure? And I think the nerves is a big part of that.
And especially looking at Lotus, a map that's all about these sort of opening skirmishes, fights for rubble, fight for sand control. Both these teams love to show a lot of utility early on in rounds. It's going to be looking at guys like Zek, it's going to be looking at guys like Juicy to find those opening kills to get the advantage for their team.
We are just moments away from Agent Select. Sufat here, you can see him giving his team a bit of a pep talk. He's definitely being one of the more animated one, carrying them through the emotions, through the vibes, going toe-to-toe against Zelsis of all people. Very impressive, very impressive. I definitely want to see what they're going to do moving away from that Tejo as we move on to Lotus.
Yeah, the atmosphere on stage has been great with...
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. Sentinels are doing some trolling. They're doing some crowd work. They're having fun up there.
I mean, if Wolves lock in right here, Mel, you're familiar with this comp.
Oh, I love this comp. And you too, aren't you? The Fnatic comp, as I like to call it.
Just a little bit.
The fade, the double controller. I think this is very much, we might see a very similar game style as to the first map where they play very slow and very contacting. And that makes me a little bit worried again for Sentinels on the defense.
I will say, John QT's on Viper. This is not normally what he's playing. It's Zelsis on the Viper. This time Zelsis going over to the Vise, so playing Senti on this map for Sen. It will be the fade in the hands of Narrates. This makes a little bit more sense in terms of roles, but we're still not seeing John return to the Senti of old.
When was the last time we saw him play Viper?
That's a great question.
I can answer that in just a moment, but on Lotus, he has played it like one time here and there. But like you said, not something that we see very often. But what about this Vice?
From Zelsis, I mean, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think Zelsis could make a great fade here, or not fade, excuse me, a great Vice here. His anchoring has looked phenomenal as well, so nothing too crazy for me. I'm expecting greatness from him on the Vice.
Yeah, honestly, Vice with a double smoke to back it up is really hard to break through on a defensive side. It can isolate your Raze player when you're trying to dive into sight. There's no Yoru clone or anything like that to break away the wall easily, so this makes things a little bit more challenging for Wolves to deal with in the mid-rounds of finding and dealing with the Vice util.
I think a big part here, what I'm looking at Sentinels, is if they're going to play against another contacty comp, I need to see them win these fights early.
Well, we've seen this comp many times in the past. I can't wait to see what Wolves are going to bring, because Uber and Wyatt, if they win this, they'll bring it to a map 3.
Frankly, I wouldn't have it any other way, Hinsu. A full-round defensive path from Sen on Split sees them explode into winning the map. It was, for no good reason, a legendary clash between Sentinels and Wolves. And now heading over to Lotus, it looks like Wyatt Tejo's departure has taken us back to some of the more traditional comps we've seen here.
This is vintage stuff. The only difference being that Sentinels are bringing in the Vice, which has been so popular on this map, and specifically when you're looking at Zelsis on this agent, very refined, excellent, anchoring over towards that C site. Has some pretty standard setups over towards A that he just continues to play off of very well. You can already see he has his patented arc rows over there in tree. Some little things that Wolves are definitely going to be, or should be, prepared for when they've been reviewing the Sen VODs. But yeah, the biggest departure for me is the fact that Zekin's Yoru was lethal on this map. Last we saw Sen against MIBR in Americas in that upper final, but just pivoted back to the Rays, which is, I mean, a vintage Zekin agent as well.
Absolutely. No early rebel fight here for Sen. Very passively here on the A side of the map with a drift over the stairs by Narrate. Zelsis is about to get busy, but Bang already emerges. He holds it down, peeking over towards the push to tree. Cover going out. Lasso might make a pivot here towards the B side where Zekin will be waiting, paint shells in hand. An early encounter at C as well. Wolves testing every avenue.
They are so spread out at the moment, but Lysor is just solo walked into B and is going to get the spike down. All right, cool. Spring with that Sheriff, getting some
damage done through the dark cover, spamming away. Triple players stack up from SEN, trying to get through Baby.
He's alone. Lysor is still alone right now.
All the timing.
Not able to get away from that. See, he's going to be thrown in. Lysor at 2, finds at least 1. Narrate, a tap on the spike here. Door opening up. Prowler to herald the arrival of Wolves as they try and stop this retake. But SEN, hard hitting, leaves Spring out of the open and out of luck.
That's Wolves down a player early on account of Bang, but then just being very disconnected as Lysor knows he can get a free plant, but no one's really in position to take any further positioning.
Spring threw up a Viper wall that allowed the 3 SEN players to get into Baby Door for a 3v1 against Lysor to start that retake.
Yeah, unfortunately, just due to where all the players were and the importance of taking further space towards defenders spawn after getting the spike down on B and C especially, they're just not able to do that because all of the Wolves players are spread across the map. They're back to main and spam, and they're at a disadvantage. They're just never going to win that. Wolves are going for the force right now. Juicy has the Bucky.
Maybe looking for more of a close quarters context.
And he's going to make it close quarters with a double satchel.
Yep, here we go. Juicy coming on in. Narrate has to hear this. Oh, Juicy!
Nice.
Well, has his wings clipped as he tries to cross that B site. Oh, what a big mound control. Bang pushing up. Has to be aware that B main is where Wolves are currently milling about.
Wolves there displaying for us why the Vice is just so effective on this map. They're going to need to be able to proc that wall so Juicy doesn't end up in situations like that. We know he's going to be double satcheling in deep, but if the rest of the team are cut off by the shear, he's going to get cooked every single time like we just saw.
Eyes towards Baby Door now for Wolves. Narrate. About to have some visitors. It's a 1-for-1. Spike recovered, of course. Tufat now needs to make a decision. They've got that stairs control on A, but he's still fancy B for a moment, and there it just took too long. Zelsa's caught a timing on Spring, and now Tufat's got no choice but to go towards the B side where Zekken will be lying in wait.
30 seconds left.
Again, unfortunately for Wolves, the players are just so separated from each other
Bam.
on individual missions. And this,
They're doing great.
what looked like attempt to be the Stinger rush onto the B site was ultimately just denied by the Sentinel utility, and from there things have slowly collapsed.
10 seconds
While you left alone, surely going to be going down to second here.
Nice one.
Closing out the round in pretty clean fashion for SEN against the bye. So opportunity to get to 3 here now against Wolves early. Get a nice little lead on their own map pick. I like what Kaplan said. It was interesting to hear from him just on that map, the difference in play from the regions. We're not scrimming against teams like this. It was hard to get our own game plan online because we're just not used to what Wolves are doing.
Because Wolves made that force in round number 2, they've really got so little to work with. And this for SEN is an opportunity to build a massive economy on his defense side.
Of course, that Outlaw's still going to be getting value for Zekken as he pushes up and gets space on Rubble with the rest of the team. Wolves are triple-faced on B, hoping that someone from Sentinels will decide to go for a peek. That's not going to be the case right now. Taking it slow, hoping to collect some orbs. I mean, back in the meta of Lotus, when these comps pretty much ran for an entire year, the game was really ult orb dependent. Getting those showstoppers was of the utmost importance.
Wolves get the sheer wall. Only about 6 to 7 seconds before they can circle back to C. That does seem to be the plan, though. Or slowly extract themselves. Fighting for Rubble might be a dangerous proposition for them, but Narrate is the one with the ghost.
I'll find you.
Perhaps an easier target to knock down. Confirms that there's at least one player still here. Bang's going to have to play off of this fade positioning.
Bang is in the 10th spot.
Send out the paranoia off contact. What? Okay. No way. There's just no way. That shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be happening.
Now it's going to be on Zekken. A little bit awkward. Outlaw with a ton of targets to find. And Juicy trying to get across with a blast pack. That's 2. He'll fall off the line now. Paint shells to follow up.
Out of charges.
Peaks with the classic. He's bought enough space, though, at least for SEN to get the reinforcements in place, and so they do.
Sufa is so far away right now. He's in B, having to go through Baby Door. Spring is going to need to do even more work with his Sheriff. And it feels wrong that the ask is on him to do more in this round.
Tufat is here. Sentinel's now going to make this push up, likely a double swing. John in second here on this line. Celsius with his back to Spring's position.
No.
His head cleaned off. Now 2 left. Second finally shuts down the rampaging Spring.
I'll find you.
But up Spring comes Summer, and Sufat's about to make it hot and heavy. Backs away, no time. Plays it like an absolute champion. That is not around. You have any business winning.
That feels impossible and should be impossible. How is that double setup from SEN towards Rubble dismantled? There's no util for Wolves to get out aside from using the wall to get forward. Sees what a shot! And the crosshair placement from Bang, who throws down the dark cover, throws out the paranoia. There's just no way.
One enemy remaining.
And then after that, Spring, could you actually do some more for us? Could you get another kill?
Sufat plays behind.
Come on.
Expertly in that moment. The second's got no choice but to run at him.
Wow, look at this. Read on the economy from Spring. Outlaw, 5 one-shottable targets. Everyone from SEN on lighter regen.
SEN know they've given that weapon over though. They know they need to play around it. 0 peaks off the seaside here.
Wolves do a nice job getting all of the space towards Mound and drawing a bit of attention from Sentinels, even procking the door. Celsius wants to go for some spam in case they are actually trying to get into B main at the moment.
Down to the minute mark in the round. Still nothing drawn out by Sentinels. Nothing really for Spring to look at with this Outlaw.
And this is Sufat just on a solo effort to keep the attention here. He's doing everything. He's throwing prowlers, he's opening the door, he's getting the orb. And there are 3 players mostly drifted towards that area of the map. It's going to be an A re-clear again. Can Bang right the wrongs from that prior round.
Narrate never had to show himself there either. It was awkward, but Narrate last time they were here had only a ghost. This time they're armed to the teeth. YU is able to draw that sheer wall out, but the fight's definitely happening over towards Rubble. Sen back up on it though. 25 seconds left in the round. Wolves have to make a decision.
Oh, they aren't. They're still too indecisive. They're going back towards Mound now. They're in a 2-1-1 with 15 seconds left. The round is just over.
They've got no duelists. They've got no entry on this site.
They can't even get past the thorns that are there. Now they're trying to get into B. This is mad.
Okay, 7 seconds left and they're going to go for it. Snake bite on the ground. Lysor knows he's going to lose much of his health. And it's Zaki with the showstopper. Brings the house down on Wolves. What a bizarre round. And Wolves bleed the clock a little too much.
The indecision is their enemy there. You have Sufat making that tons of noise over towards C in the mid-round. But Wolves, after losing Juicy on this entry towards A, they just did not want to commit through the dark cover. It's actually going to be an early timeout called right now by Coach Fade, and I am not mad at that. We, in fact, saw at the end of Split, it was his second timeout that got Wolves back in the game. That is when they started to put together some defensive rounds. He gave them the right adjustments to make.
We just take stock of things here, because that's a round that Wolves, they win a ridiculous round in round number 3. They come out with an Outlaw. Sentinels are all half-armored, all regen shields. Right? They do not have the ability to tank one of those Outlaw hits. And they just give Wolves nothing. Not a thing. Play so safe, and it's eventually that swing on Rubble that gets SEN with the advantage. And Wolves have no idea where to go.
And look, one of the issues there is the fact that because it is Sufat making all the noise towards C, they don't actually have any of that initiator utility to get out on A. You don't have a Prowler that can go clear Rubble to get on to Bang.
Reminds me of the old MIBR solo Skylark on Sunset, you know?
Deep pull, but true. I mean, accurate, but...
Using your initiator to try and sell a fake, though, a lot of that util can be really valuable to gain real map control.
You can just see, yeah, because then after Juicy goes down, they're like, we can't really get out of this boat, can we?
There's 2 Razor Vines on C. They have no raise, so they're never going to get on that side. Ugly stuff.
All right, what's the plan for Wolves out of this timeout? They're nearing many ultimates. SEN expending some to win one of those prior rounds, so when we get to Wolves' full buy, that can certainly be the linchpin of a win there. Here, they're hoping it's just going to be one of these 2 hero rifles.
Don playing a bit further forward this time around. Knows that Wolves are obviously less cashed up this time around. See a lot of heads though, and Juicy, man, he is clean with it. His Sheriff's claims the first. Celsius is seized here, decayed down. There's a window here. Pops the Razor Vine. They can't quite get purchased on him. And Sufat overextends. Spike loose. Lysor, though, is able to at least to salvage. Second's going to be here. Spray down's a bit wayward, and Lysor's gotten in onto the C site now. Zekin's paint shells do not get any value.
Slowly trying to get towards Bend right now. Not comfortable getting the spike down just yet. Narrate has a fair amount of initiator utility to use to get back in, and Bang is on a long flank right now. Will Wolves expect it?
YU checks for it, but can't beat Bang. Paranoia comes in, Lysor and Spring forced to just double up at the bottom of the C site. Bang must have spotted them there with a shoulder peek. Perhaps not, as still eyes are looking towards the Bend. There's Spring, just sees a head pop up. That's stunning stuff. Eventually, though, taken down. It's Lysor with less than 50 health to play. Time is of the essence, and SEN are fully cognizant. They'll have themselves their 4th round.
Credit to Bang there, able to win the duel on the flank. That is the highest impact kill in that situation he could possibly find. Then you have the other 2 players being encircled from multiple different angles.
Look at a brute force solution to trying to get Zellsis out of that corner.
I mean, I'm not mad at them fighting it, it's just that they didn't really fight it together. If they both kind of got out and were spraying, they might have just gotten that kill in clean fashion, but they weren't doubled up. Zellsis getting that one was pivotal as well.
Zekin is 8-1. Night and day comparison to his start of his split game. Running it back on the Rays after all this time.
We really have not been getting much of the Zekin Rays, if at all, this year, but that is his, or was his go-to agent. That's what he was known for, the flex Rays play. Here comes Juicy fast into the side. That's a dodge. The Arc shut down.
Right into the Razor Vine as well. Zellsis now wants to assume some more control, but he's likely hurt this TP forward by Lysor. He gives up the site. Play for the retake.
In the meantime, YU did actually find a kill with one of the players from SEN on the cross towards B. Bang teleporting over to assist. This lockdown is going to keep the Sentinels team at bay. Should give Wolves a free plan here.
Yeah, look at how much it pulls his covers. Wolves also pinging the one gap in that. Oh, John, that is stunning. Gets detained, but there's no chance for Wolves to follow up on this. Spam down through the smoke, finds to be another one. Here's the Nightfall down from the attack side. Wolves want to try and assume as much control of C as they can. They've even committed a Viper's Pit to that effect.
Yeah, this round is must win. They have to send it all. YU spam kill.
Ring in the pit, dancing around. Narrate finds him before he decays too low. That's a Viper's Pit.
2v2, sorry, 2v2.
YU and Sufat in this corner. Zellsis and Narrate do not have the util to clear them from this. Gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way. Spray down through the corner. Zellsis exposed himself to Sufat on the tight angle, and Narrate does not have the health to bail Sentinels out. A hard fought, long sought after second round here for Wolves.
They committed all they needed to, must win around, excuse me, and they are able to take that down. Spring just somehow connects a miracle shot on the second player that was swinging through the pit in that final situation. But a good usage of their ultimates, no doubt. YU was crucial on that round too, early. Pretty standard for, you know, your Sentinel position. They're going to be taking a timing on B, waiting in main to hear those footsteps on the cross for someone trying to get over to Waterfall towards C. Little jiggle peek and he wins the duel there. That's just always on your mind when you're a defender and you need to get over to that site.
All right, we have a mild audio issue down here on the stage. So that one will be rectified pretty quickly as headsets are already being replaced. We get Wolves, they spend pretty big in that round. Like, get those ultimates in play, they make use of them correctly. It's a lockdown that John disrespects. He's playing in halls, he just spams down through that smoke, he's able to find one. But Sentinels are not aware that Sufat's tucked there on Bend, right on that spike location. They just didn't have the utility to dig any of those Wolves players out of position. So we're in textbook, hit on towards the C side with that raise, double satchel initiator. Now though, without some of those key abilities, can Juicy make use of this showstopper to once again clear that space, maybe force them back into halls on that C side?
Look, I'm certainly looking to Wolves to maybe go for one of the crazy executes here where your Omen uses from the shadows to get behind the defensive team and then you send it at them with a showstopper. Pinch them from both angles. That is a pretty common ult execute on this map.
Oh my god, the Odin is out.
Lysor is not above a cheeky little TP to the enemy spawn.
Fnatic tactics.
So turret here for YU to play contact off of a B. Wolves have been waiting for a push out of B main from SEN, but it's never happened. Not so far in this defense side. They've just been leaving Zek in here, of course, with those paint shells to hold it down.
The only real proactivity coming from SEN is just the double up from Merit and Bang to take Rubble control. And to be fair, it has kept Spring at bay. He hasn't had opportunities to be able to lurk up off of his wall, which feels very un-Spring-like. I mean, on Split, he was taking the fight to them all the time. He was that showstopper.
He's waiting on those.
He can't do anything.
On the snake bite, couldn't actually cross.
Result
She
wasted.
wall
Result waste.
did come up.
Yup,
That's a speculative showstopper that ends up finding nothing. All the util cleared from the C side, though. It looks like Wolves want to double back, Wyatt.
Yeah, they certainly can re-execute off this.
30 seconds
Sufrat
left.
does have a Haunt to throw, clear out an area like Bend, teleport through to make the cross. They want to scale into the site, which is vacant of SEN players, but they are ready to flood back in off the Steel Garden.
Juicy Vizak and Duelists here fighting for that Hall's control. Second opts to wait just a little bit longer here. That Steel Garden off the back of it. John explodes. Zelsa's now playing from Waterfall. Lysol left here on the C side, the last remaining Wolves player. And Zelsa's might not be aware. He TP'd out with that ultimate. So now Wolves in the position to play that retake, but Zekin's already got it to half, and Wolves might not be aware of this. The race able to spray them down through the poison orb. Zekin got off of it briefly, but he'll full stick this, and Wolves are none the wiser.
That's just disaster for Wolves. They have to all retreat into Mound after the Steel Garden is used and the spike just isn't planted for them. Mound is just over at that point. Easy, effortless retake for Sentinels.
Spike planted.
Tries to get out.
I mean, what can they do after this situation? Legitimately nothing. It's just over. It is just over for them.
Nice one, nice.
Looked odd, but Wolves probably realized there was no reasonable way to get back in, so wagering those remaining rifles seemed less than ideal. Now a bit of a rubble fight. This time SEN actually aren't playing forward. They've got Bang back in trade.
Somebody spray.
4 rifles right now for Wolves. Spring just on the pistol, though, unfortunately.
Watch the timing of this paranoia, Wyatt. Sees combo with the paint shells, perhaps. Oh, it's Second getting caught out. Narai doesn't have much to see here, and Bang's going to watch his left side. No! Oh, my goodness! Sealfat found a quick double.
Okay, that was
SEN going for a bit of a haphazard attempt
SEN
at the refight. Just not expecting, I don't think, so many Wolves players to actually be ready.
Oh my god, John Cute is getting flanked.
This has been the most convincing round win for Wolves so far, unless John is able to go crazy in that 1v4, but he can't. That is shut down by Spring.
And that was a half buy. Wolves, I think, had 2 pistols, maybe even classics in that kind of round. And it was one of the rounds where SEN opted not to play forward on Rubble. They didn't have Bang TPing forward at the start of the round, having Narrate watch that live. They opted instead to try and play off a paranoia, and everything kind of went wrong for them, and Zek found himself isolated.
Yeah, isolated on that orb, and the rest of the players just tried to spill through the fight together, but Sufa hits a nice little snappy adjustment. Too many players from Wolves posted up to deal with. And look at this. Somehow, their economy is not very good, which feels bizarre, but this is an opportunity for Wolves to get right back in the game, potentially tie things up, break their eco right here.
Bang can't clear the horn with where he is, so he actually at least consider giving up that Rubble position.
They're going B,
they're going B variation, though, this time from Wolves. But some of this Vice Util is here.
Which has been an absolute nightmare for them. Second 2 rounds in a row has been instantly deleted by Juicy.
Wait a minute. Are we going to go back towards C here? Zekin's departed. Obviously very early in the round. Juicy though's been cleaned up. Spring wants to try and get forward here, but this Nightfall could be a bit of an issue for Wolves. Spike is obviously down. Spring trying to play from upper and cleared out instantly. Sulfat now gives his position away. Enough noise to wake the dead, and Narrate's going to turn around with the Odin. Look to try and spray him out of the game, and this is awkward timing for the fade. Wolves here with a great opener. SEN able to convert on a 4v5 after Zekin falls.
Great opener, essentially a free plant. They have the idea, which is the right idea, of when you're getting the spike down on this map, you have to go take more forward space on B, but they just don't do it together. Juicy is too quick to face here. Zelsis gets an isolated 1v1. There's no trade coming through. Spring is trying to get forward, but he's alone, caught before the dark cover drops. Right idea, wrong execution from Wolves, and some frustration on the face of Fade as things are getting a bit out of control on Sentinel's map pick, especially for the defensive side. And when you're talking about these traditional comps, this map was attack favorite back when it was in the pool, and this was the meta.
And that's why SEN getting to 6 is a huge deal. Orb taken by Sufet now gets his Nightfall online. Once again, Zekken wants to take an early challenge, but looks like that's been denied. Classic entry over here. Zelsis is 39. Does he think to try and play a one and done in the corner now at this level of health?
Face your fear!
Okay, Boom Bomb going to be thrown in. Dark cover there. Overall to Paranoia, forces John back in the Hall's direction. Juicy deals with Zelsis all too easily.
Nice.
There's a nice little tap from John. Happy to challenge this side take util for a kill.
Yeah, now just fully on the retreat. Posted up to try and ensure the Wolves don't push any further. Lysor, danger for a moment, and it's just getting spammed through by Bang! Disaster! As Wolves try to wrap around Ben to get that spike down.
Spring's able to recover the spike, but what opportunity, they're going to have to plant it. He tries to surge ahead, draws Zekken out of position, might be a high-low swing, but Zekken tucks. He's not going to give them a free kill here. Wolves are the ones that have to wager something. And Spring has got some work to do.
Oh, it's disrespectful from Zekken. It's a little bit whimsical too with the double satchel in. Gets himself one orb away from a showstopper with those kills too, matter of fact. It's just those tracers from Lysor with the Vandal that are spotted out.
And at this point, Zekken just doesn't give them a freebie. Until this point, breaks that crosshair placement. Spring overwhelmed. And then 7 defense side rounds for Sentinels. There's no way of framing this other than they're at a massive advantage on this map.
Zekken going to pick up that Outlaw for another round in this map on an anti-eco.
Look at Spring. Took that Odin damage off the rip, and Zekken's able to find an Outlaw pick, but finally decided to push up on B, by the way.
Well, that's gotten him his showstopper. Just in case SEN wanted another advantage to close out this half.
Oh, man. Spring's at 6, by the way. Far too much spam for Wolves to deal with. SEN holding all the cards. A double swing here. They'll try it, but Bang almost had the correction. Spring at 6, wants a rifle. He'll have it stripped from his hands momentarily. Watch this snake by lineup. Yeah, just the delayed drop. I like that. 8 rounds for Sentinels, last of the half. Showstopper earned by Zekken. It's looking grim for Wolves fans.
Gotta say, the just existence of the Vice utility on this map has really thrown a wrench in the game plans from Wolves. And it's, I think, highlighted some of the issues that they've had as a team, where it's disconnected them on executes to too great of an extent on multiple site attempts.
Are they shooting back?
All right, Wolves, last chance to get a desperately needed round win on what is typically the favored side on this map.
And this is that more passive A-side variation for Sentinels on defense. Nobody heading up to rubble.
And Zekken has actually picked up the operator towards C. I'm going to assume there's probably a rifle on the ground for him as well to pick up, and he has the showstopper to play with. So he's got 4 weapons if he needs to use all of them.
He's Gilgamesh. And that's why he's down at 1,600. Of course, you spend up here. And with that Vice util that you referenced earlier is definitely going to be an issue at C. Popped here early. So you saw the Nanoswarm used by YU. Try and draw it out. Oh man, that is a long shot. He even tanks the Prowler in order to take it. Zekken might likely give up some rooms. Juicy has his own showstopper, so he clears the room at B. This is Wolves tipping their hand.
This will get enough space for Lysor to get the plant down right now safely. Spring on this lurk through A. Narrate is ready. He has eyes on the smoke. Can Spring actually catch a timing right now? He hears them running away. It's going to be time for him to hit the go button.
Juicy will buy more time now. He's gonna force Sentinels back a little longer. Okay, Juicy tapped down a little bit. No, 56! Showstopper goes between his legs apparently! And Spring tries to get active and up, and Lysor down to 1. Just Lysor left! And it's a disastrous attack side on Lotus for Wolves. Not nearly enough rounds earned here to give them any sense of confidence. They were dictating the pace of the game on split. This time, though, They were taking orders from Sentinels.
I just don't have that explosivity right now on Lotus that they had when we were back on Split. Sentinels looking elite right now on their own pick.
Decken takes that Prowler, knows he has the shot. Juicy clears B with a showstopper, but can't do much else with it.
Narrate, once he got that Odin online, he was so aggressive.
149!
Second even getting the kill with the AWP there. Was taking advantage of the Outlaw on the proper rounds. SEN really doing everything right. Wolves with no answers, couldn't deal with the Vice.
Classic comp, classic performance from Sentinels. Can Wolves get back in the game after the break?
Hey, everyone, make some noise, because we got Alexis over here in the house! Alexis, what are you up to here, you know? How you been?
I've been really good. We've been doing duo workshops for the Valorant University, and now I'm just here watching the games.
Yep. Are you enjoying the venue and the vibes? I mean, I saw a lot of fans walking up to you asking you for selfies.
I love the vibes. The venue's insane. I love Artist Alley, where I can buy little trinkets. I've bought so many little trinkets.
Aww. All right, I gotta ask you about the game, though. Are you supporting anyone, you know, rooting for anyone?
I gotta root for SEN, right? Gotta.
All right, you're SEN City. I want to ask you about the meta, though, because you play a lot of Breach, right? So what do you think of the current meta with the Breach, I mean Taeho nerf, the little bit of a Breach nerf as well, and how the teams are playing?
I think the Taeho nerf was definitely needed, for sure. Very overtuned agent. I will say I feel like the Breach nerf was not super necessary, but maybe I'm biased as a Breach player. That stun, that 2 seconds on the stun really hurts my soul a little bit.
Right, but I need you to do me a favor and hype up the crowd for the second half. So, ready? We're gonna say let's go, okay? Second half!
Let's go, guys!
Let's go!
It's all happening here at the NKS Center in Toronto. SEN City have led, and after a rocky start to the series, they look like they've stabilized. Time for your Coinbase Econ report here. Remember, this is a factor of the damage you've done divided by the credits you spent. So really about how much impact on the game you can have per credit.
Second bang up there, certainly, and that's even with Zekin buying Outlaws, dropping them, buying an AWP, still able to get so much value out of everything he was spending that cash on throughout the game, which is obviously also reflected in the score. SEN on the less favored side for Lotus, especially when we're looking at the comps we have of the old meta, which is back as the new meta. 9-3 is just so tough for Wolves to come back on. Their attack side was the favored one back on Split. Let's see if they have it in them here. Spring, he's been hitting. But the rest of the guys, they need to come to life.
Let's make him dance.
All right, folks, we are moments away from jumping into the second half of Lotus. And like Quiet said, the challenge has been issued, a 3-round attack side for Wolves. So the Pistols where it begins for them, a huge comeback. Not unlike the one SEN had to undertake on Split.
Juicy had a tough time on attack. Unfortunately was just sent in and isolated by so much of that utility, was in unwinnable situations. Maybe here on defense is where he can turn it around. He was a star for the team on map 1.
Thank you for joining the watch party. The GOAT is here, bhai.
Tentatively, SEN are starting to
The
encroach here.
eldest, the wise man is here. Let's go. Thank you.
Pass box, they've checked that. Baby Door, of course, untouched. In tree, Lysor is going to be waiting. Wolves may be looking for an opportunity to explode out from here, but they're going to have to make some noise. Getting rid of the door. Tree control taken, but now SEN looking towards Baby Door. Supet's able to stop them. What a bouncer! You shall not pass, he says. Still wants to over-push into the spike location. The race having to get a second, but it's on Zelsis. Sheriff in hand. And a heck of a job to do.
Well done from Wolves, just swinging out together there.
30 seconds left.
All of the Sentinel players just kind of clumped up, playing by the orb, trying to get towards Baby Door. The exact start that Wolves needed, unless Zelsis with this Sheriff can go off, but that's just not going to happen. He doesn't have the time. There's simply no way. Wolves getting back into the game here on defense. Let's see if they can try to go on a similar run.
Juicy with the grenade out there. Zelsis hoping for a little bit to be offered up. That's not to be. The swing there from Baby Door for Wolves. Gets him onto the board here in this second half. A drought of rounds. SEN was stitching together 4 at the end of that first half. This play here, nice little double up. Really pushes out to try and take more. Is punished for it, but the damage is already done.
And then you just have Juicy on the cross from sight. Just a beautiful setup. Simple, highly effective from Wolves. And they're going to fully invest up into this anti-eco round where Zekken is going to do the Juicy cosplay from the first half and go for the Bucky double satchel.
Yeah, perhaps to upper. Maybe with a dark cover to get him in there.
I'm getting deja vu.
Prowler comes out, there's also a wall there. Now over towards the mound side of things for Sentinels. Zekken still has his satchels, blast packs, he's caught midway through. It's the Marshal of all things that catches him.
John does actually recover that Bucky. Maybe he can have a better fare with it. YU holding the cross. Here come the swings from Wolves.
Not a lot to write home about in this round. Solid stuff from Wolves. YU is waited on them now, and John says, well, in for a penny, in for a pound, they say. What do I have here?
Well, he gets his. Unfortunately, that is just the Marshal down, but they'll take what they can get with the Bucky investment, which does end up being a little bit awkward into this. Zekken is just going to have to buy up into a Stinger. Well, we've got 2 back-to-back rounds, I will say, for Wolves on defense, where the fundamentals are just looking good. Just playing, swinging out of these smokes together, taking the fight to SEN as a unit.
Yeah, good defensive util over at B that sort of diverts Sentinels to the C extremity. And now the pleasantries have been exchanged. They mostly buy here for SEN. There's a C's attempt over towards Rubble, but nobody for Sentinels is in attendance. They're pretty quickly heading to C, but there's definitely some util that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah, and like I mentioned before, so important to just try to get your orbs over to your Rays if you can. Get as many showstoppers as possible when you're on this attack side. SEN want to get into this C site perhaps. There are 3 players ready to go, but the other 2 a bit too far away. Orb will actually go to narrate on account of him being the closest to the ultimate at the moment.
So here's where great teams on Lotus attack side can succeed. They've got nothing really out of these early exchanges except some defensive util.
And now look at the difference here for how Wolves are approaching these A re-clears. They do have Narrate involved here. They can throw out some of this initiator utility if they want, but at the moment it's just going to be a snake bite for back. Rubble slowly making their way out together as the clock is ticking down to 35 seconds.
Lysol spotted, tagged up on the shoulder peak. Backing away into Baby Door is Juicy. Zelsus now takes this opportunity to get some B control. They can pinch on the wall. The Rays, but Juicy sees an opportunity to come forward with that retake wall thrown up. Now SEN bouncing over towards B, but Juicy's going to be waiting for them. That paint shell doesn't do too much to dissuade him. Paranoia, though, could be a problem for the Rays. Juicy on the corner. Can't really see. Bang, and it's haphazard shooting. Effective enough, though, for Sentinels.
Nere was just so patient on that lurk.
Okay. We got this.
Bides his time,
We
gets the
got
free
this.
kill spray. Jump up from Zekken, gets out of the way to Satchel to win the duel. Now 1-for-1.
YU's only got a Sheriff to work with. Silfat has to be careful on this angle. Just a Guardian to play with. Bang, re-smokes up, forces YU to just push out into the great unknown.
By the SEN bundle.
Sentinels are waiting for it with open arms. Converting that first rifle round here on this attack side.
Nice fast trades from Zelsus to clear things out.
Before clutching around,
Juicy was dangerous for a moment in Baby Door when he finds the perfect timing window to swing out, get the opening pick towards Rubble. But eventually from that position, you can just feel the walls closing in on him. You're just too susceptible to any utility coming through.
You know what?
Sorry, I got you though. I like that. I like that from you.
In future.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
ऐसे qualify होती है. Then I have 2
now heading
teams that I am supporting.
into what will be the first full buy round for Wolves. Coach Fade going to call that second timeout in the game. Crucial. Down 10-5. Must win. This is the game on the line, not just the round. This will be SEN getting to match point.
Thought that was an attack side round from SEN that showcased some pretty good macro fundamentals for Lotus. Getting up on that C side, getting the orb, forcing out some of that killjoy util. Bounce over to A. See what you can tease out there. Start to pressure the player in Baby Door and eventually execute B pretty cleanly, all things considered. Wolves gave them a lot of map to play with, to be fair. And maybe that's the call. Maybe it's about being a little bit more proactive on one or both extremities here. Looking to take maybe an early rubble fight. They've got a full bike here. Our team from China.
Listen, so far, you still have to give them a lot of credit. They have defied expectations coming into this, going up against the hungry Sentinels who are trying to bounce back from a disappointing showing at Bangkok this year, going out, losing 13-1 to Liquid. They want to start off strong with a clean 2-0 against a Wolves team that are just trying to make themselves known on the international stage for the first time. We didn't even think they'd be here.
Once again, this early action, one out by Spring now.
Always happy to just take a 1-versus-1 in Spring.
For all appearances, SEN are highly committed to this siege, and yet that smoke towards Waterfall says they're coming again! YU has the stopping power. Just punishes Zekin mid-flight. All of a sudden, the options are limited for SEN.
And that is just some spray through after the door gets activated. Knows where to put the crosshair. Juicy.
Okay.
Quick on the shot. That should be curtains on the round.
That's a devastating round coming out of Wolves here. That C control. YU basically locking it down himself. Look at the locations of SEN jets here. Failed B attempt.
Turret, gun out.
YU catching the crossing Zekin. A flawless round here for Wolves.
अरे ऋषि आमरस पिएगा क्या? मैं अभी आमरस पी रहा हूँ. चाहिए
Pretty bad for SEN as well.
आमरस पिएगा आमरस.
2 here for Wolves.
आमरस.
Look, that's just Spring. So ready for, again, it's just that common Sentinel work position where you try to take a little timing peek. Spring too fast. Juicy too fast on that Spring as well. They just shoot well in that round, but credit for isolating Zekin on that attempt to satchel in. Now we've got Kaplan going to call the timeout here.
Yep, timeout.
As Wolves are trying to make a little go at it.
Yeah, I mean, so far.
Second half, not too bad for them.
SEN able to convert their first gun round, take 3 rifles out of it. After that sort of buy of the Bucky and the anti-eco, Zekin had to make do with a Stinger. It worked out. I don't blame them here, though, sort of. That last round, far less elaborate in terms of how they worked the map. They lost the player very early in B main and ended up just having all of their eggs in that seaside basket. And they got flattened by YU. Zekin just got headshot straight out of midair, so perhaps a call from Kaplan, hey, let's slow it down. Let's maybe make use of this map, work it a little bit more. Make use of that Viper wall we're using on A.
Yeah, going to have to ensure that they're able to draw out a fair amount of that utility before they're actually getting in for the executes. And sort of a light commitment too. Like, you can't have Bing try to teleport across in a situation like that.
They did that in round 15. They drew out a lot of util early before ending B. So the concept of a plan is there for Sentinels. See how they put it together now. Round number 17, folks. You're still with us, Toronto? That's what I thought.
All right. Sentinels on the eco round here. Just a stinger for Bang and a full effort to try and get out towards Rubble. Viper utility up to make the cross. Mysore again here defending. It's been a tough going for him on the map so far. Wolves would love for him to begin to heat up. Maybe he can get some confidence kills on the anti-eco just to get things rolling.
And they're wasting no time in getting this tree set up. And in fairness, Wolves don't have anything set up to stop them. They're going to be allowed into the A site. Pretty ideal start to the round for Sentinels. Now it's a matter of landing the plane as Wolves give the side up for the retake.
Trying to get this really forward position. Cheeky little angle to play around this dark cover that's thrown down.
A nice little paint shells buys a lot more space. Oh, okay. Zekin, he disrespects the snake bite. Spring's able to deal with him. Little high-low set up now from the defenders as they try and get back in here. Nightfall thrown out by SEN. A big ping though off that horn apparently. Suvet's able to reveal much of the defenders and now Lysol wants to step up, have a crack at it too. It's only down to YU. These Zelsis. YU, so little to work with in terms of teammates. Tara could be deployed, but in the 1-versus-1, he's got a face. Zelsis down. And it's going to be his rifle versus the Classic. All things considered, pretty solid round for Sentinels, but Wolves rack up another.
A lot of damage done. I do like how Sentinels were able to play that. getting proactive, fighting towards heaven. They back off, absorb a little utility, try to repost, keep fighting. They were not slowing down with their effort to apply pressure to Wolves. Results in a lot of damage done. Now here comes the very crucial buy round for them. They're going up against the Wolves that have multiple high-impact ultimates to play with here.
Lids definitely kept on their economy to some degree by Sentinels. You're right, we got lockdown. Viper's Pit to play with. Showstopper for Juicy. Bang with that TP across to Rubble now. SEN again thinking about A early.
Wolves really no desire to go for these hard fights towards A. They've been giving it up, letting Lysor just spot for the information late. SEN, they're slowing things down. They're cutting noise completely, pressing up towards this site. I mean, Lysor could be in some serious danger.
Turned anti-flash. That door being toggled is more than enough to tempt him off of A.
Yeah, gets away at just the perfect time. This site is totally open, totally free. That being said, though, Wolves just have fantastic ultimates to play for a retake. Bang, trying to get that kill. Lysor is going to want to play patiently.
Of course, the temptation's going to be here for Sentinels to push off this site, Wyatt, but it's a dangerous proposition. That lockdown could be an issue.
He gets that Steel Garden activated here, by the way. This is going to connect onto everyone if he rips it right now.
Yeah, finds the timing for it. Why are you trying to step out of it?
I think they mostly got out of the way there, actually.
Like
Their time is dwindling, though. They're going to have to recommit quickly. Great opener from Spring.
Gelfus down. There's going to be a push coming from stairs at the moment from Wolves as well, but John tucked in the corner. 1 and 2. And here comes Juicy. Showstopper at the ready, but he can't get in. Finally makes it onto the site. Narrate's going to be dealt with, but Wyu is out of the game. 3 up for SEN. Bang. TP cancelled.
They all had to get off the site, but the spike is still planted for them, and there's just not enough time for Lysor. He's forced to retreat. Great positional adjustments from Sentinels at the end there. Had the spike planted for them. Steel Garden, sure, it doesn't get the connections, but it just ends up wasting so much time. And that means Wolves waste the showstopper, waste the lockdown, all for naught. SEN on 11. Creeping closer to the map win.
Juicy looked like he got seized as he was trying to come in with that showstopper, but still converted it for a kill. But just the spacing, like you mentioned, that Steel Garden forced. Then the Wolves lost another 5 seconds of time to make that retake happen. And timing's been a bit of an issue for them over the series at really important moments.
SEN bursting out into Rubble with some haste. They've been getting this space on the map for free, and they haven't been getting re-cleared. So they're hoping that's just going to be the case right now, and they can pivot elsewhere.
The push-up, though, towards Mound by Juicy means that he knows this is a bit of a fake. Now SEN are going to drift back in that direction. B main held 3 players at B for Wolves in general, so SEN make a good call here, heading to a pretty lightly held C-side.
My ult's ready.
Second gets the showstopper with a collection of that orb. Is he going to try to send it in? It's Bang teleport on the cross to break the crosshairs.
Awkward for Johnny, tries to crouch, but Juicy's waiting there, finds his second. Zelsa steps up, only for 1, it's 3 for Wolves' raise. Now the momentum out of SEN's court. Second can still go for this though.
Oh, that would just be so high risk. Certainly doesn't want to waste it. That being said, though, this is a pivotal round. Maybe if they can get a kill first, bring it into a 2v3, then you can use it. But in the 2 versus 4, you're just not going to want to waste it. But look at the SEN economy.
30 seconds left.
Wolves have been able to keep a lid on it. They've kept them in that danger zone. And with just 20 seconds left, they're going to opt to save these 2 rifles, bring them into the next.
The race. Pretty big series for him. I mean, Zekken came on your show and sort of said he had full belief in Narrate to turn up when it mattered. That he just needed that one breakout game to really show what he's capable of. There's a sense that he's still got more to show on this team.
He's been having a quality series here. Yeah, I really don't think he's even reached his peak with Sentinels yet. To me, he does have more to show. He can even kick things into a higher gear.
And that's a Wolves round picked up. SEN do not want to take the gambit with 2 guns left. Great little 3-piece for Juicy here on C.
This is another situation where you're seeing what Wolves are driving with. That is flooding back in. It's good fundamentals, swinging together, taking the fights together, and they're finding the kills in the Sentinels' transitional moments where they're trying to still scale deeper, get into the site.
Their fears.
All right, SEN, because of those 2 safe guns, they are going to be able to get a near full buy. Zelsis does have the Stinger.
Okay, they got Juicy at A this time. Looks like Wolves are ready for a bit more of a rubble fight.
Wow, this is Nere trying to draw a lot of attention. Baits out the Nightfall while the rest of Sentinels will be able to get into this B site unless Spring tries to slow them down.
Too slow in a baby door here for Wolves. Spring's able to find one anchored on the site. Sentinels forced away by their Viper util.
It's just that Molly on the ground that once again isolates Zekin in the site and evens things up. Even this pivot to C slowed down on account of another Molly, but Wolves won't fully be in position to get in just yet. Hoping to spam through. Bang getting on low HP, but the Viper's Pit will just further obscure the view from Waterfall.
Spike passed along to Celsius by the looks. And now a bit of a nose cut even from Sentinels, but you have to imagine they're staying here because of the Viper's Pit. Celsius here with an Arc Rose to set up, and this is going to be a tough retake for Wolves at the best of times. They can't even counter pit this, Wyatt.
Spike planted.
Spike is going to be planted, getting through this pit. A nightmare, but at the very least, when Sufat does make his way over, look at the concern right now from Wolves about a flank towards B. They're doubling up for that. Oh, and it's just wasting time. Juicy can't win a crucial duel.
And he can't double up with anyone from Waterfall because of that pit. He's solo in that position.
The round is slipping away. Prowler needs to be used to spot someone out, hoping to get some spam through the pit.
Oh, one by one, White, they set up and they're fed to the wood chipper. I think at this point, Superfat realizes there's no point forcing the issue any further. Lysol caught out both guns. Stripped away from Wolves.
We are on match
with
point.
an economy still to be able to buy. That is a devastating round to drop to SEN.
One round away, Sentinels from taking their first match here after struggling at Bangkok, going 0 for 2, sent home early. You could feel the frustration from them, the way they were speaking about that tournament. Zekin speaking about their failures to adapt as a team, to play together in the way that they needed to, and they've bounced back.
Marshall has decided to win the round.
For this final round 2, they're going to have significant ultimates to close things out. Wolves have got their full buy. Can they stay in the game? Nightfall ripped immediately onto Lysor. So much pressure towards his way.
Zekin wants to get up here with this showstopper. That's a deep rocket.
Oh, he went for the snipe with that.
No catch though, Sealfat respects it. Things slow down a little bit though. SEN have not left rubble. But they can still pull out. We've seen this before, bouncing over to another side after some early action here.
Well, Wolves will be more than happy that both ults are gone within the first 20 seconds and did not do a damn thing for SEN. They don't even really have much control of rubble. Juicy is pushed up towards box, has Spring on stairs ready to swing off of him. John is just trying to keep them distracted, keep them on this site.
That's an extra 5 to 8 seconds in which Wolves do think something's happening at A, even if John doesn't have any follow-up. That means it will be YU again that has to anchor this C-side alone.
At this point, though, they're not believing it. Spring is getting over to the C-site right now, and we'll be able to help YU on account of the delay from the Mollies.
Viper's Pit now drawn out in the C-side. It's going to be a tough ask to expect SEN to go there, so we're bouncing back. Time is getting short. 30 seconds left in the round, and the Vanguard appears to be Zelsis at B. Is A back on the menu?
Yeah, it looks like it. This is a very late pivot. They want to actually go into a B split. Threaten A hit second, opens
it's
up.
Working. They're going away for the B side, and they got the drop on Juicy. The one pick at A draws the defenders off the B side, and now it's pandemonium from Wolves trying to get back in. Lysor with a double. Zekin and bang forward by the wayside. Now Zelsis out of the game. John clutching for the series. Spring and Lysor doubled up. Spray through smoke is wild. It's wayward, and Spring gets it to half. Now off of it. Looking to team up with Lysor here, and John has very little to look at. Somehow finds Spring. He doubles down!
Let's go, bhai.
The mastermind!
SEN win, bhai.
Plants the flag for Americas here in Toronto. Clutching up the game as Sentinels walk away with the 2-0.
What a final round from SEN's IGL, John. Beautiful calling into that pivot towards B. Catches out Juicy and then clutches it out in the 1 versus 2. SEN starts strong, but man, did Wolves come out swinging. No one expected this game to be that close back on split. They kept trying to get in the mix on Lotus. It felt like they were always so close to maybe manifesting a comeback, but SEN were just too strong on their own map pick. Kaplan said in that halftime coach interview that it was tough to play against Wolves. They're playing a different style. We're playing against a different region, and our game plan, it's hard to get online. Put on Lotus, work to perfection, dominant defensive half. SEN are looking strong to kick off this tournament.
And a return back to an old meta, a new meta, whatever you want to call it. It looks like Sentinels still have all the tools they need to put a compelling performance forward on these maps. Ridiculous comeback in that first MIP. Great series. We're now going to head over to Jen Lee down on the stage for our Verizon post-match interview with Bang.
Congratulations, Sentinels! Right. Looking sharp, everyone. Bang, I'm gonna need you over here for an interview. Please. Thank you. 2-0, W on the board. That's gotta feel nice, right?
Yeah, it does. Feels really good. I'm really glad we were able to close it out. It was a little shaky, but it's all right.
Can we please talk about how close today was, especially on split? What was going through your mind?
I kind of felt we weren't really ready for what they were doing to us on split. It was kind of a new thing, and it kind of caught us off guard on our defense. So we just had to adapt. And I mean, we still got 4. I feel like we did pretty good, even regarding that. But on attack is when we really started like playing like ourselves, I feel like.
Speaking of having to adapt, right? Let's talk about the Taeho nerf. Because you guys played Taeho on basically every map back in stage 1. So how do you think that nerf has affected you guys?
I don't really think it's affected us as much as people think, to be honest. I feel like people are overrating how good we are, or underrating how good we are, and I don't think it has anything to do with how good Taeho was.
All right, lastly, you guys are 1-0 now. Who would you like to face next? You have Paper X, Bilibili, and the winner of the upcoming Gen G versus MIBR matchup.
I would probably, out of all those teams, like to play Paper X the most. They're definitely the most fun team to play against, I feel like.
You want to have fun?
Yeah.
Go 2-0.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Bang. Congratulations once again. Give it up one more time for Sentinels!
The player worked, bro. Okay guys, so I think we are done with the watch party आज के लिए. Thank you जो लोग tune in हुए for the watch party. इसी के साथ I think I will take my exits. Friends and family, देखो मैं everybody, good night. Happy.
An update is required. Financial system updating.